However, from a certain perspective, he had indeed been Lu Rushue's simp before, and there was no washing that away. Thinking of this, Lin Ran logged onto Weibo for the first time and went through the official verification process. Before Lin Ran could post anything, Wu Zhishang and Father Wu arrived, bringing a few assistants with them. Big bro, long time no see. Lin Ran looked at Shun Jingbing and said, "Don't call me big bro. It makes us sound like we're in a gang. You can call me Brother Lin or Boss." "Okay, Boss Lin." Lin Ran said, "Uncle Wu, this is the current chairman of Saran, and this is the general manager of Nuanyo Real Estate. You should get acquainted." Father Wu shook hands with Chu Tianyang. "Mr. Chu, we've met before. I was in charge of building the external network for Lin Yuan Shengjing back then." Chu Tianyang also remembered the reliable man before him and acknowledged his workability. "Mr. Wu, you have a keen eye. Now we all work for young Master Lin. In a bit, if needed, we'll cooperate to put those people in their place." Lin Ran said, "Put them in their place, huh? That's simple. Just watch my signal later." Father Wu and Chu Tianyang said in unison, "Understood." Just then, the person leading the troublemakers spotted Lin Ran. "That young brat is Lin Ran. Let's go find him." With that, a group of people swarmed over. A rough count showed there were more than 20 of them. Chu Tianyang ordered stop them. The security guard from the Saran group were about to step forward when they saw that the bodyguards Lin Ran had brought had already intercepted them a step ahead. The man in the lead shouted, "Boss Lin, we want to buy a house. Why won't you sell?" Lin Ran recognized the leader at a glance. It was the same man who had led people to demand refunds, and now he was leading people to buy houses. Lin Ran asked with a smile, "And you are?" My name is Zhuang Baifan." Lin Ran was taken aback. "Good name, right? My father's surname is Zhuang, and my mother's surname is Bai. They hoped I would be ordinary fan, so they named me Zhuang Baifan. But with such a great name, why can't I buy a house? Wah!" At this moment, Shun Jingbing stepped forward. "Actually, that name is just average. My name is better. My surname is Shun. I was born in the capital, Jing, and my parents hoped I would become a soldier Bing when I grew up, so my name is Shun Jingbing." Zhuang Baifan stared blankly for a moment, then gave Shun Jingbing a thumbs up. "Boss Lin, why won't you sell us houses?" He was truly regretful. He worked so hard to buy a school district house, thinking he could get a wife with it. Now, the house was gone, and he hadn't found a wife. However, someone's persuasion had given him a new direction, caused trouble. The bigger the trouble, the more likely he would be able to buy a house. Lin Ran, "Brother, you were the one who wanted a refund, and now you're the one who wants to buy. What exactly are you trying to do?" Zhuang Baifan, "Boss Lin, we were indeed impulsive when we asked for a refund last time. Now I want to buy it back. Why won't you sell?" The others chimed in one after another. "Exactly. How can you do business like this?" Lin Ran glanced at Chu Tianyang, who immediately explained in a low voice, "Young Master Lin, I'm sorry. It was my mistake. Last time you said not to sell to them, so I didn't. Besides, the houses they returned have already been sold to other people." Lin Ran didn't mind these details. He just wanted to confirm if what they were saying was true. He turned back to Zhuang Baifan and said, "I told you when you demanded refunds last time. This is a school district property. You could get a refund, but if you want to buy again, we're not selling. And from what I understand, the houses you returned have all been sold out in the past few days." Zhuang Baifan shouted, "But those were clearly our houses. What right do you have to sell them to others?" "Your houses? Where's your shame? When the price drops, you demand a refund. When the price rises, you want to buy. You think you can have all the good things? How can you be so shameless?" Lin Ran's words made Zhuang Baifan's face flush red. "There's so many of us. Aren't you afraid we'll expose you?" "Expose me for what? For giving you a refund? Or for not being willing to sell you a house that someone else has already bought?" Lin Ran couldn't care less about market feedback, let alone being exposed. If the company could run, it would run. If it couldn't, he would shut it down. He had a wife to support him. What was there to fear? That was his confidence. You're going too far. I'm going to expose you." Lin Ran, "Fine, go ahead. I happen to have nowhere to put the video I recorded last time. Hurry up and go." The man froze, looking at the other homebuyers in dismay. Last time, they had indeed been impulsive. "You can't do this. We lost so much in loan default penalties." Lin Ran, "Did I force you to default? You suffered losses? I haven't even calculated the massive losses your refunds caused my company. If you continue to cause trouble, I might just have to settle that account. My wife is Luo Yao. You know that the Luo family's legal team has never lost a case. Do you want me to send you a lawyer's letter?" The news of Luo Yao sending lawyers' letters to netizens all over the country yesterday had already spread across the entire internet. Even if one or two didn't know, it was impossible for all of them not to know. Sure enough, some people got scared. Most of the people here dared to cause trouble with Zhuang Baifeng, but they absolutely did not dare to challenge the law, nor did they want to pay any compensation. But, Lahan, Nobu, you were the one who led the charge for refunds, not me. I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. If your girlfriend breaks up with you and marries someone else, are you going to shamelessly go and say that's your wife? What kind of logic is that? Lin Ran's words instantly hit Zhuang Baifeng's sorest spot, because his girlfriend really had broken up with him for not having a house and had turned around and married someone else. He was even the best man. Huh? Wah. You're too cruel, wah. Seeing a grown man cry so heartbrokenly, Lin Ran found it amusing. Had he really hit a nerve with this guy? Wailing here is useless. Don't you all want to buy houses? Simple. The second phase of our Saran Group's project is about to be topped off. You can pre-order. Everyone's eyes lit up. Really? Of course. But let me be clear up front, there's a 10% price increase. After all, the current prices are not comparable to back then. Not raising the price further is the greatest responsibility I can show to consumers. Good. Thank you, Boss Lin. Thank you, Boss Lin. Lin Yuan Shengjing's value is soaring. Even buying an increased price was very acceptable. Many people immediately switched sides. Boss Lin is such a good person. He truly is worthy of being Luo Yao's husband. This is practically the nation's son-in-law. Lin Ran was feeling a bit giddy from their shameless praise. Zhuang Baifeng, however, flared up. On what grounds? Why should we pay an increased price? We want to buy at our original price. Lin Ran, I said they will pay an increased price. As for you, I won't sell to you no matter how much you add. Lin Ran's assertiveness completely crushed the other hesitant people, and they all defected, no longer standing with Zhuang Baifeng. Zhuang Baifeng, on what grounds? Because I feel like it. Zhuang Baifeng stomped his feet in anger, but Lin Ran nonchalantly asked the others, I can't be bothered to dither here. Now may I go in? The others, yes, of course. We were being rude. Please go ahead. Zhuang Baifeng, get lost. Young Master Lin won't sell to you. What are you still shamelessly hanging around for? The people Zhuang Baifeng had brought with him immediately blocked him outside. Zhuang Baifeng, Lin Ran, you're just a capitalist who doesn't care about the lives of consumers. If you don't solve my problem today, I'll die right here at your company. Lin Ran narrowed his eyes. So you want to play like that, huh? Shun Jingbing, leave it to me, boss. Lin Ran walked into the Saran Group's office building and said to Xiao Tong beside him, look into that Zhuang Baifeng. Understood. Outside, Lin Ran had only said those things to stabilize the majority of his future customers. This Zhuang Baifeng was definitely up to something. What kind of person leads a group to demand refunds and then thinks of coming back to buy again? It didn't make logical sense. If it were him, he'd have too much pride. Now that he wasn't a loser, the only thing that could make him shameless was Luo Yao. Chu Tianyang was now riding high, the chairman of Saran Group. If he appeared before Lin Tianba like this, wouldn't it infuriate Lin Tianba to death? This was all thanks to Lin Ran. It was Lin Ran who gave him this opportunity. And now, Saran Group's real estate sales were booming. Ever since the school district property was confirmed, they were making sales every day. The pace wasn't fast, but it was by no means slow. But just 2 days ago, after it was revealed that Lin Ran was Luo Yao's husband, Saran Group's value skyrocketed. In just a few days, their doorstep was worn down by visitors. Some people even came with a very clear purpose. View the property, sign the contract, pay the deposit. Everyone was thinking, maybe in the future they could live in the same community as the son-in-law of the #1 plutocrat. What an honor. They'd have something to brag about. I live in the same community as the #1 son-in-law. Therefore, the houses in Linyuan Shengjing immediately became a hot commodity, and the supply couldn't meet the demand. So, the second phase was being rushed day and night, just waiting to be topped off for pre-sales. Old Chu, I'm just taking a casual look. You don't need to be so nervous. Chu Tianyang reminded him in a low voice. Young Master Lin, you can't just take a casual look. As a behind-the-scenes boss of Saran Group, it's best if you act a bit more assertively this time to put them in their place. Lin Ran, why can't you command their respect? I'm starting to doubt your abilities. Young Master Lin, the Saran of today is not the Saran of the past. We've sold almost every house we can sell. Now those shareholders are getting arrogant. I'm too familiar with them, so they're not afraid of me. But you're different. As long as you can assertively suppress them, no one in the company will have any other ideas. Lin Ran nodded. So, we must have made quite a lot of money, right? Chu Tianyang, it's a lot, but young Master Lin, do you still care about that? Lin Ran nodded. Of course I care. How much I get in the next dividend payout determines what kind of gift I can buy for my wife. Chu Tianyong suspected Lin Ran was feeding him a public display of affection, but he had no proof. All right, I understand. Lin Ran, Chu Tianyong, and the others walked into the Saran Group's conference room. This place used to be Lin Tianba's domain. Now, it was Lin Ran's. Young Master Lin, you're here. Upon seeing Lin Ran, all the shareholders greeted him with smiles. After all, Saran Group's success today was all thanks to Lin Ran. You don't mind me attending the meeting, do you? How could we? You're the boss. We all depend on you for our livelihood. It's our honor that you could come. Lin Ran waved his hand. All right. Actually, I just came to see how the company is doing lately. On the background wall, a super large photo of Lin Ran was hung. Before every meeting, everyone would bow 3 times to the photo. Lin Ran's face darkened. We're a socialist society. We don't do that class stuff. Stop bowing to my photo in the future. How can we do that? Young Master Lin, you've given us new life and hope. You are a great man. Lin Ran sat down expressionlessly, and only then did everyone else take their seats. The main topic of today's meeting was the price increase for the second phase. There were 3 options. The first was an 8% increase, the second a 10% increase, and the third a 20% increase. The crowd offered different opinions, and Lin Ran watched them argue the whole time. Just then, Chu Tianyong was about to call for a vote, but he looked at Lin Ran. Young Master Lin, do you have any suggestions? Lin Ran, my suggestion is not to increase the price. All the shareholders' eyes widened. What? The situation is so good right now. If we don't raise the price now, when will we? To be honest, I've already contacted the leaders at the Price Bureau to set up a meeting. No price increase. Young Master Lin, are you kidding? Lin Ran narrowed his eyes. Chu Tianyong was right. As a new leader, he couldn't suppress these people, especially since Chu Tianyong used to be a director and shareholder, just like them. They were originally on equal footing, no one above the other. Now that he had suddenly become their superior, his former brothers were naturally not convinced. This was like why grassroots emperors had to slaughter their officials. When you were a beggar, I was doing better than you. Now that you're the emperor, of course I'm not convinced. And with these people colluding and him not being around often, it was actually quite difficult for Chu Tianyong. Only then did Lin Ran understand why Chu Tianyong wanted him to suppress them. It was for his own convenience. This guy had even calculated him into his plans. Do I look like I'm kidding? But, with a smack, Lin Ran slammed his hand hard on the table. As the boss of Saran, the largest shareholder, don't I even have this little bit of authority? A price increase? Look at the people who come to buy our houses. They've struggled for so many years just to save up a down payment. And you want to raise the price to drive them away and let property speculators in? What are you thinking? A shareholder raised a question. But young Master Lin, we are businessmen. Businessmen should be profit-driven and prioritize profit over sentiment. Lin Ran raised an eyebrow. That's right, I am very profit-driven. I've already made a fortune from Saran Group. Everyone was stunned, looking at the brazen Lin Ran in disbelief. Why did it feel like something was wrong with the world? You, Lin Ran, did indeed make a ton of money from Saran Group by screwing over your own father, but we haven't yet. Seeing the shareholders' shocked expressions, Lin Ran spoke coldly. If you think I will compromise because of what you say, then I can only tell you one fact. I was able to drag Lin Tianba down and turn him into a beggar. Do you think I can't throw others into a crematorium? As soon as Lin Ran said this, the entire room was shaken. To me, Saran Group is just a small business left by my mother, but it's actually dispensable to me. If I want Saran to go bankrupt, it definitely won't live to see tomorrow. Because my wife is Luo Yao. Those words were arrogant, but he had the capital to be arrogant. Everyone. Can a freeloader be this cocky? A freeloader. And they were only just recalling that this young student had personally screwed over his own biological father until nothing was left. The scene from that time was still vivid in their minds. Lin Ran's cold gaze swept across the room. I say no price increase. Who's for it and who's against it? Everyone swallowed hard and raised their hands to vote. I agree with no price increase. That's right, it's not easy for ordinary people to buy a house. If we raise the price again, aren't we pushing them to a dead end? Young Master Lin is indeed far-sighted. Amidst a wave of flattery, the matter was settled. Lin Ran called Father Wu over and said to the others, "Next, I have another announcement. This is the general manager of Nuanyo Real Estate. In the future, for construction projects, you can cooperate with Nuanyo Real Estate." Lin Ran's second sentence was a direct kill shot. This time, many shareholders couldn't sit still. Preventing a price hike meant everyone lost something, but it was acceptable. But cooperating with Nuanyo Real Estate involved their actual interests. Originally, they could skim quite a bit of profit from those projects, procurement, and so on through their connections. Lin Ran paid them no mind. I know what you're thinking. From now on, you can extinguish any thoughts of sucking the group dry. At this moment, a young shareholder raised his hand. Young Master Lin, isn't this inappropriate? Lin Ran narrowed his eyes. A chicken had finally presented itself. You're fired from the board of directors. What? Lin Ran stood up. I said you're fired from the board of directors. Can't you understand Chinese? Lin Ran's voice wasn't loud, but many shareholders lowered their heads, afraid of being caught in the crossfire. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. Also, that photo on the wall, take it down for me. Damn it, I'm still alive. I don't need you to commemorate me. Shit. Lin Ran flicked his sleeve and left Saran Group directly. His arrogance, his assertiveness, his coldness completely stunned the entire room. One shareholder swallowed. Why do I feel like young Master Lin is different from before? Another shareholder also sighed. He's like a monk holding an umbrella, completely lawless. Chu Tianyang glanced at him and said, nonsense. Even Lin Tianba only lasted 2 rounds against young Master Lin before becoming a pauper. Young Master Lin's methods are not something we can compare to. The shareholders quieted down. Saran Group's waters were too deep, hard to navigate. Leaving the conference room and arriving on the first floor, Lin Ran let out a long breath. Damn, acting tough is pretty tiring. Old Wu, I'll have to trouble you from now on. Father Wu quickly shook his head. It's no trouble. I'm following you to make a living, so it's what I should be doing. Brother Lin, look over there. Lin Ran looked over. Good heavens. Shun Jingbing was on the ground, convulsing, and holding up a hand with 5 fingers spread to the police officer who had come to mediate. 50,000. He beat me up like this. Everyone here saw it. If I don't get it, I'll keep convulsing. Zhuang Baifan, I didn't. It wasn't me. I didn't even touch him. Shun Jingbing looked at the surrounding crowd, who all testified in unison. You did. And so, Zhuang Baifan was taken away for investigation. I've discovered that Shun Jingbing is actually a very capable person. Who can say he isn't? All right. Lin Ran seemed to remember something, took out his phone, and logged into various platforms. The official verification was complete, and Lin Ran subsequently verified his accounts on platforms like Douyin and Weibo. He found a few pictures he thought were good, added a caption, and posted them. Image, image, image. Another day of being protected by my domineering CEO wife. Instantly, the entire internet erupted in a sea of wails. Can you stop showing off, damn it? See, you're getting agitated again. Wait, why do I feel like Lin Ran doesn't care about his face at all? The domineering and assertive CEO Luo plus the shameless and doting Lin Ran. These two are a perfect match. Is this really Lin Ran's official account? Oh my god, is Lin Ran this handsome? Who said Lin Ran is shameless? He's a very good person, okay? Lin Ran, if you don't start a live stream, I'm going to start cussing you out. You dare cuss out Lin Ran? Watch out for a lawyer's letter. Go live. I want to give Lin Ran gifts. I want to support him. Luo Yao personally went to the Luo family's public relations department today. Besides some legal affairs, there was a very important organization. It wasn't large, but its role was powerful. They were responsible for monitoring the internet, liaising with online entities, controlling public opinion, and flagging all news unfavorable to the company. Luo Yao came here, naturally, because of yesterday's online public opinion storm. After she became famous in one battle, no one on the internet dared to say that Lin Ran had abandoned Lu Ruxue. However, the question of whether Lu Ruxue was wrongly accused became the focus of everyone's attention. Due to the Luo Group's strong PR, everyone certainly couldn't discuss it openly, but there were plenty of discussions in secret. CEO Luo, the public opinion is now completely under control. Also, young Master Lin just posted on various platforms. A look of confusion appeared in Luo Yao's eyes. What did he post? The staff member, young Master Lin, posted about his daily life on Douyin with the caption, I love Luo Yao. On Weibo, he posted 3 pictures with the caption, a day of being protected by my wife. The more Luo Yao heard, the happier she became, her mouth nearly curling up to her ears. Right now, there's almost no news about Lu Ruxue online. All that's left is content about Mr. Lin and you. However, there's a group of netizens who want Mr. Lin Ran to do a live stream. Luo Yao wasn't concerned about this matter at all. All she wanted now was to find Lin Ran and be close to him. The more she thought about it, the more unbearable it became, as if she would die if she couldn't see Lin Ran right now. And so, Luo Yao once again left the Luo group during work hours. In the car, Lu Meng turned back to look at Luo Yao and asked, CEO Luo, It's been confirmed. That strong Wan is Zhang Xianwan. How should we handle it? Luo Yao's closed eyes opened. Interesting. Luo Yao wouldn't attack an ordinary person, but once things involved Lin Ran, she would become a bit irrational. Zhang Xianwan was a bit special among the women around Lin Ran. She wasn't a gold digger like Lu Ruxue, not hypocritical like Hua Hanyi, not a cheater like Chun Qingtian, and not brainless like Zhang Xinyan. Moreover, she had a good personality with a tenacity in her bones, and most importantly, her values were very upright. At least more upright than her own, or so Luo Yao believed. This kind of woman was very lethal to men. Give her a warning. If she dares to get close to our Ran again, just get rid of her. A chill ran down Lu Meng's spine, instantly feeling the murderous intent. Offend anyone but Luo Yao, like anyone but Lin Ran. These were all living examples. For instance, Hua Hanyi and Lu Ruxue. With just a small move from CEO Luo, Hua Hanyi disappeared, and Lu Ruxue went to jail. Killing two birds with one stone was child's play in Luo Yao's eyes. Downstairs at the Saran group, watching Shen Jingbing being taken away by an ambulance and Zhuang Baifan by the police, Lin Ran felt a sense of satisfaction. Against scoundrels, you had to fight fire with fire. Wu Zhishang. Ever since Lu Rushue's downfall, Shen Jingbing hasn't had any work. I was even thinking of having him go back to being a valet. I never expected him to be useful again. Lin Ran raised an eyebrow. Lu Ruxue isn't the only hateful person in this world. Wu Zhishang. Who else is there? You'll find out slowly. Keep Shen Jingbing around. He's a rare talent. For extraordinary matters, you need extraordinary people. Ran. Lin Ran froze, slowly looking up to see it was Luo Yao and Lu Meng. My little highness, what are you doing here? Luo Yao threw herself into Lin Ran's arms, not wanting to leave at all. Lin Ran picked Luo Yao up. Everyone close your eyes. Whether they were from Saran Group or Nuanyo Group, every single one of them closed their eyes. Lin Ran carried Luo Yao into the car and sped all the way towards the place called home. Yao Yao, you've done so much for me, and I'm only just finding out. I really deserve to die. Lin Ran was referring to Luo Yao's battle against the entire nation's netizens for him. Only Luo Yao could do something so crazy. They dared to slander you by saying you like Lu Ruxue. I was very angry, so they deserved it. Lin Ran was at a loss for whether to laugh or cry. Luo Yao was indeed still the same Luo Yao. She was angry because someone had linked him with Lu Ruxue. Luo Yao had always had an unbelievably strong possessiveness over Lin Ran, and Lin Ran, as it happened, didn't dislike this pathological possessiveness. Exactly. They dare to slander me like that. Sending them lawyers' letters was you showing great mercy. Lin Ran seemed to think of something and continued. I saw the netizens' comments. They want me to do a live stream. Do you think I should satisfy their desire? You can decide on such a small matter yourself, Ran. A sinister smile crept onto Lin Ran's lips. Then I'll satisfy them a little. It'll save them from always demanding this and that in the future. I'll just kill their dreams in the cradle all at once. Luo Yao gently bit Lin Ran's shoulder, leaving a faint tooth mark there. Ran, will you always love me like this? Even now, Luo Yao still felt like she was in a dream. Lin Ran's recent changes were too drastic, so much so that it felt a bit unreal. Lin Ran, of course I will always love you, and you can only love me. Luo Yao's eyes were filled with love. Of course, only by inhaling the air you exhale can I sustain my life. Lin Ran was stunned. He felt that Luo Yao had also undergone a tremendous change. Yao Yao wasn't an indifferent person. Yao Yao could also say sweet nothings. Ran, today we're going to do it in the kitchen. Time flew by. The next day, Lin Ran casually checked on Nuanyo Media and didn't find any potential threats. After leaving, he went back to the university to check on the library project. The foundation was almost complete. Interestingly, at school, Lin Ran once again became the center of attention. Now, whenever he appeared at Capital University, many fans would get the news and surround him. It got to the point where Lin Ran was considering graduating early. After all, attending classes or not made little difference. It was meaningless. When Lin Ran mentioned this to Principal Tang, the principal immediately said no. He listed various reasons, and at the same time felt fortunate in his heart. Luckily, it was Lin Ran making the request. If Luo Yao had come personally, he really wouldn't have dared to say anything. Lin Ran got angry. He was genuinely angry. I've done so much for the school, and you can't even grant a small request like early graduation? Do you still want to be the principal? My wife is Luo Yao. My maternal grandfather is Chan Xiao. and my maternal grandmother is Su Jiangwo. Do you want me to have them come talk to you? Principal Tang wiped his sweat and said, Student Lin Ran, although you haven't graduated, the school doesn't have any requirements for you. You don't have to come to class. I've already helped you apply for that. Lin Ran was taken aback, feeling that what Principal Tang said made some sense. All right then, but you still need to talk to those students. Don't let them rush up to me like I'm a monkey in a zoo every time I come back to school. I understand, Student Lin Ran. Those people just like you. They like me, is that it? All right, tomorrow I will do a live stream for the whole internet. Let them watch me in the live stream room. Principal Tang was stunned. Live stream? Yes. Don't they like to watch? Then I'll let them watch their fill. Good. I'll organize all the teachers to watch as well. Lin Ran's face darkened. So they really did see him as a monkey. As you wish. By the way, Nuanyo Group needs to expand its team again recently. If the school has any needs, contact Wu Zhishang. Principal Tang immediately nodded like a pecking chicken. Good. You are all good students of my capital university. Leaving Capital University, Lin Ran went to Linyuan Shengjing and the Capital University affiliated primary school opposite it. The primary school was now undergoing measurements. This was not a quick project. There would be reviews and modifications before the foundation could be laid and construction could begin. After ensuring there were no potential problems with his properties, Lin Ran finally breathed a sigh of relief. These past few days had been the busiest since his rebirth. Now, there were truly no more worries. Tomorrow was Friday. He would do a live stream, then spend the 2 days of the weekend with Luo Yao, and then he could wait for Little Black to find him. The internet was constantly demanding that Lin Ran go live. His lack of response had caused a lot of dissatisfaction among netizens. However, Lin Ran understood their mentality quite well. At first, Lin Ran didn't want to go live, but thinking that Nuanyo Media's short drama was also filmed here and was about to be released, he decided to promote it as well. Anyway, Little Black hadn't come for him yet. A live stream could also quiet down these netizens, so it was a temporary form of amusement for Lin Ran. And so, on Friday morning, after Luo Yao went to work, Lin Ran, without any preparation, opened his Douyin livestream. No one helped me reach for the sky, so I walked through the snow to the mountain's peak. If fate does not grant me this cloud, I can still ascend Kunlun alone. Hello everyone. I heard you all want to see me livestream. Is that right? In an instant, the number of viewers in the livestream room quickly broke 10,000 and was still rising at an astonishing rate. WTF? Am I seeing things? Lin Ran is live. Quick, open the donation channel. I want to give you a gift. That's right, donations. I want to hear young Master Lin shout bro, 666. Lin Ran, all right, I'm opening the donation channel now. Feel free to donate, folks. More is not too much, and less is not too little. Everyone was stunned, not expecting Lin Ran to play by a different set of rules. Are you still the so-called young master of a wealthy family? Lin Ran. See, now that I'm really asking you to donate, you're not happy about it. Just then, a barrage of special effect comments appeared. Immediately after, all sorts of gifts started flooding the screen, and Lin Ran instantly turned into a money grubber. Lin Ran. Thanks to Xiao Tong Xian Sun, Meng Yi Jian Shang, 50 Jia Tian Gang, Shuang Xing, Fan Meng Jing Yen, Tang Chao Ban Li, plus V for Krabby Patty Secret Formula. Jiji Yun Jian Shen Chu, user 38310085, Chao Shi, Xing Luo, and others for the gifts. Host, are you really not embarrassed to ask for our gifts? Yuri already so rich, do you really need our small donations? Lin Ran. Your willingness to donate is an affirmation of me. And if you think about it, those who are willing to donate are gods of wealth. You will surely get rich, so you naturally don't lack money, right? I thought the host would say something like, thanks to this poor sap for the few measly coins. Look behind the host. This isn't just luxurious, it's opulent. Host, show us more of the place. It's impossible for us to live in a place like this, but at least we can feast our eyes on it. Lin Ran, we're all friends, so I'll satisfy you. First, let me show you Villanelle, one where I live. As Lin Ran's phone camera turned, the comments in the live stream room erupted in amazement. So opulent. I work in interior design, and that genuine leather rug the host is stepping on could buy half my life. Villanelle. 1. Does that mean there's a no? 2. Lin Ran walked and said, of course. Villanelle. 2. Is the walk-in closet my wife prepared for me? Want to see it? Yes. We want to see it. We want to see it. Lin Ran. I'm not going to show you. A sea of shit. Oh, filled the comments. Lin Ran walked out of Villanelle. 1. And went to the parking garage. See this? All gift for my wife. Next, we'll randomly pick a car and go to the estate's crocodile pond to show you the crocodiles. WTF? Portia, Koenigsegg, McLaren. Is that Dullinen the cheapest one there? Crocodile Pond? Keeping crocodiles at home. What kind of sick joke is this? Lynn Rand got into a Lamborghini Aventador, and the roar of the engine was particularly piercing. Before long, Lynn Rand arrived at the so-called Crocodile Pond. It wasn't far from the private zoo, but Lynn Rand had no intention of showing them the private zoo. Arriving at the Crocodile Pond, Lynn Rand nodded to the crocodile keeper, then aimed the camera at the keeper and pointed to a body of water. Folks, 1 rocket gift, and the keeper will bonk a crocodile on the head. 3 rockets, and the host will do it personally. Damn, he's the perfect embodiment of a capitalist face. Tom has no fur. Sends host Rocket X3. Tom has no fur. Host, you better bonk the biggest one for me. Without a word, Lynn Rand picked up a shovel and walked over. The crocodile was basking motionlessly in the sun when it was suddenly bonked, looking utterly bewildered. It turned around, swished its tail, and fled into the water. WTF, he really bonked it. This host is legit. The crocodile looks so pitiful. Is it going to do a death roll on the host? Crocodiles are so cute. Why would you bonk a crocodile? This host is purely showing off and cashing in. Lynn Rand. Yo, yo, yo. Starting with the wealth-hating, are we? If you got the guts, you can bonk one too. For the next 10 minutes, the keeper became a laborer, sweating profusely as he bonked the crocodiles until they all fled into the water. Looking at the empty shore, Lynn Rand revealed a sinister smile. Do you know why I raise crocodiles? Because crocodiles love to eat meat. They'll eat any kind of meat. What does the host mean? Probably the literal meaning. Next, Lynn Rand wandered around the estate with his phone, broadcasting wherever he went. The netizens in the live stream room finally broke. Host, is it really okay for you to flaunt your wealth like this? Lynn Rand. You knew I was rich and you still asked me to go live. Aren't you just looking for trouble? Isn't this what you wanted to see? Now that I'm showing you, you're not happy. And what you've seen is just the tip of the iceberg. Next, I'll show you something big. Lynn Rand then went to the Sky Garden. This is where I usually watch the stars with Luo Yao. How is it? Is this a sky garden? No, this is practically a city in the sky. WTF, this is too lavish. A freeloader shouldn't have a house. Seeing that the atmosphere was about right, Lynn Rand finally spoke. All right, you've seen what you wanted to see, so I'm ending the stream. Let me declare, I'm not an entertainment host, and I will not be streaming again in the future. Today's stream was to satisfy everyone's curiosity. No way, I haven't seen enough yet. I've only seen half of my dream. Lynn Rand, time to wake up. When you wake up, you'll find that dreams are actually impossible to achieve. WTF, I'll fight you, host. Let me see the luxury cars one more time. I've never driven one, just looking is fine. Lynn Rand, you can go to sleep now. You could drive any car you want in your dreams. Lynn Rand showed no mercy to the netizens' requests. Just as a wave of wails filled the comments, Lynn Rand gave them a glimmer of hope. Today, everyone has seen the tip of the iceberg of the estate. If you want to see the full panorama, then pay close attention to Nuano Media and our first short drama. This is the filming location. Including the full panorama you all want to see, you'll see it all then. Remember to like it. Our new drama's official account has been confirmed, and the title is I Confessed 99,999 Times and Was Rejected, finally throwing myself into another woman's arms. After a wave of promotion, Lynn Rand prepared to end the live stream, causing a chorus of screams in the room. What kind of stupid drama title is that? I'd be a dog to watch it. Host, if you end the stream like this, you'll have no mom. Host, if you dare to end the stream, I'll eat shit. Sorry, I have no father, no mother, and no attachments. All I have is a wife who loves me to death and a home you'll never earn in your lifetime. Also, to those who like to lie for food and drink, eat more. After you finish, you can infinitely recycle. Bye-bye now. After saying this, Lynn Rand shut down the live stream. Why do you act like this? To ruin his reputation. Lynn Rand never needed so many people to like him. He only needed Luo Yao's love. At the same time Lynn Rand ended his stream, Luo Yao was in a face-to-face showdown with Lu Rushue. P.S. The rating is already 9.3. Even though my temperature is 39 degrees, I still won't take a day off. Luo Yao got into a heated conflict with someone on the street today. The other party was injured and called the police. When the city police arrived, Luo Yao didn't try to argue at all and confessed to her act of assault. And so, she was brought here for investigation. The police station's holding cell was like a dark, squalid corner, holding all sorts of people. The air was thick with a repressive, chaotic atmosphere, as if every inch of air was telling the tales of the detainees' crimes. Some were here for fighting, some for gambling, some for theft, and some for prostitution. The people held here were either awaiting interrogation or couldn't be released for various reasons, waiting in this cramped space for their fate to be judged. And Lu Rushue was locked in the cell for serious offenders. When she arrived, there were already 5 or 6 people inside. Their gazes towards Lu Rushue were filled with scrutiny and curiosity. As soon as Lu Rushue stepped into the cell, the big sister, who had been the center of attention, asked in a hoarse voice why she was in. Lu Rushue, feigning calmness, answered truthfully, having learned about the darkness of this place online. I killed someone, so I'm here. When they learned that Lu Rushue was actually in for murder, everyone froze as if petrified. They never imagined that this young, beautiful girl could be so ruthless. For a moment, the cell fell into a dead silence. Perhaps out of reverence for a murderer, or perhaps out of fear of getting into trouble, no one bullied her. Instead, after a brief silence, they nominated her to be the female boss of the cell. Today, another uninvited guest arrived. A police officer led a girl wearing a baseball cap slowly to the front of the cell. The officer pointed inside with a blank expression and said, "The assault side is full. You'll stay here for the next few hours." The girl walked in without any hesitation, her steps firm. After the officer left, a rather tough-looking woman shouted in a slightly fierce voice, "Newbie, first squat by the toilet and state your name. Then tell our boss Lu why you're in." At this moment, Lu Rushue was lying lazily on the recliner that symbolized the boss's position. Everyone else could only sit on the cold floor. The girl in the baseball cap slowly looked up and glanced at them. Just then, Lu Rushue reacted as if she had seen the most terrifying thing in the world, sliding off the recliner and onto the floor in fright. Her eyes widened, her lips trembled, and she stammered, "Luo." The people around her were bewildered, not understanding why their boss Lu was so terrified. "Boss Lu, what's wrong, Boss Lu?" They all crowded around her. Luo Yao, however, ignored their reactions. She walked step by step towards Lu Rushue, her eyes full of mockery. Surprised? Puzzled? Touched? Luo Yao's 3 questions were as chilling as a triple combo attack. Then, she kicked Lu Rushue hard, sending her stumbling back several steps. Lu Rushue fell to the ground in a sorry state, wincing in pain. Luo Yao then sat down grandly in the position symbolizing the boss, her posture like that of a triumphant general, exuding an inviolable authority. She pointed at Lu Rushue. "Go to the toilet, lick the toilet bowl clean, and then slap yourself 10,000 times. With each slap, you must say I am a slut." Luo Yao's voice was bone-chillingly cold, like a judgment from hell. Lu Rushue gasped for breath, her eyes filled with terror and anger. In that moment, a seed named revenge began to burn fiercely in her heart. Ever since she first met Luo Yao, she had been the one being bullied almost every time. In the past, she could do nothing about Luo Yao and could only endure it silently. But now Luo Yao was alone, while she had 5 or 6 female hooligans as underlings. She felt she finally had a chance to fight back. Lu Rushue suddenly shouted, "What are you all staring at? Get her and hold her down." Hearing the command, the others, as if injected with chicken blood, surrounded Luo Yao with a look of bravado, posturing as if they had already subdued her. However, Luo Yao just scoffed dismissively. Dealing with these people was as easy for her as going to the bathroom. Within a minute, a series of howls and cries echoed through the cell. The female hooligans who were initially so aggressive were all on the ground, some clutching their stomachs, some holding their heads, in a complete mess. Strangely, despite the commotion, no guards came to check, as if this was a corner forgotten by the world. "We were wrong. Please, Miss Heroine, spare us." The female hooligans began to beg, their voices filled with fear. Luo Yao ignored their pleas and walked over to Lu Rushue. She kicked her pig-like form and asked coldly, "Can you go now?" Hearing this, everyone, as if seeing a glimmer of hope, rushed towards the toilet. Lu Rushue was no exception. She didn't understand. Luo Yao was just one woman. Why was she so strong? She was completely unharmed in a 1-on-6 fight. The image of Brother Lin Ran suddenly flashed in her mind. No wonder Brother Lin Ran was so afraid of her. This woman must be a tigress at home. Thinking of the suffering Brother Lin Ran endured, Lu Rushue's tears fell uncontrollably. But amidst this pain, she strangely felt that she wasn't suffering that much now. The thought, "I can suffer together with Brother Lin Ran," seemed to become a different kind of sweetness in her heart. Luo Yao just sat there, quietly watching them. This was the first time she had personally dealt with Lu Rushue. The feeling made Luo Yao's eyes begin to turn crimson, as if dyed with blood, and her mood became restless and agitated. Deep inside her, a sense of pleasure was spreading, the feeling of suppressed emotions being released. I'm a slut, I am a slut, I am a slut. As Lu Rushua chanted, the atmosphere in the cell grew increasingly bizarre. Suddenly, Lu Rushua felt a chill behind her. Before she could react, her head was grabbed by a hand devoid of warmth, and then slammed down hard. I told you to lick it clean, not scrub it clean. Luo Yao's cold voice rang in her ear. Lu Rushua's nose was smashed, and blood dripped into the toilet, leaving shocking streaks on the white porcelain. The pain made Lu Rushua want to struggle, her hands propped on the ground, but Luo Yao directly ground her high heel into them. The back of Lu Rushua's hand was instantly a bloody mess, and the piercing pain made her almost faint. I'll lick it, I'll lick it. Lu Rushua had completely lost the courage to resist, and could only do as Luo Yao demanded. The other women in the toilet saw this scene, and all lowered their heads, not daring to make a sound. They had figured it out. This psycho woman definitely had a grudge against Lu Rushua. She had come here deliberately to cause trouble for her, and she was not a simple woman. It had been so long and no guards had come to check. There must be some unknown reason behind it. Most importantly, her combat power was off the charts. She was simply not to be provoked. Afraid of being caught in the crossfire, the women all remained silent, quietly doing their work, hoping this demonic woman would let them go soon. Seeing Lu Rushua licking the toilet bit by bit, Luo Yao finally revealed a strange smile, which looked particularly terrifying in the dim light. Then, she looked at the tough-looking woman who had tried to act tough with her from the beginning. You, squat over there and announce the stops for bus route 983. From Wangyu bus station to Xiao village, there are 87 stops in total. For every mistake, slap yourself 10 times. The tough woman's face went blank when she heard this. She knew this was a hell-level mission. She looked at Luo Yao in disbelief. You're not willing? Luo Yao's gaze became even more ferocious. Willing, I'll go right now. The tough woman, looking utterly dejected, quickly squatted in the corner and began. First stop, Wangyu bus station second. She had just finished speaking when Luo Yao slapped her across the face. The smack echoed in the cell. Wrong. You should say, welcome aboard bus 983. The next stop is XXX. Tears streamed down the tough woman's face. She wondered what kind of living hell she had offended. Welcome aboard bus 983. The next stop is, she said, trembling, while Luo Yao corrected her mistakes on the side, watched Lu Rushua to make sure she wasn't slacking, and occasionally made the other women slap each other. These people had all been prepared to bully her at the start. How could they be good people? Luo Yao had understood a principle since childhood. The weaker you are, the more you will be bullied. When you become strong, those people will be wary. When you are ruthless enough, they will fear you. Survival is like this. This is the law. Whether in a school filled with a mix of innocence and evil, in the complex and ever-changing society, or even in this small holding cell, it is all the same. For example, those children who are bullied in school, many times it is because those poor children are too weak. In fact, as long as you are ruthless enough yourself, none of it exists. The women were tormented by Luo Yao until their cheeks were swollen. Lu Rushua was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Only then did Luo Yao check the time and feel it was about enough. Before leaving, Luo Yao looked at them coldly, her eyes conveying a warning. That Lu Rushua, if she has a good time in here, you know the consequences. Luo Yao didn't say what the consequences were, but her gaze seemed to have already displayed the most terrifying punishment. Lu Rushua's whole body trembled, as if she saw her own dark future. Soon, a guard came over and opened the door. Miss Luo, the other party has just come to explain that it was a misunderstanding. You can go. Luo Yao didn't speak, just gave Lu Rushua a cold glance. Aran often tells me that you are a piece of shit. Now it seems you are more suited to eating shit. Lu Rushua sobbed quietly, not daring to resist, thinking to herself, Brother Lin Ran would never say that. Brother Lin Ran loves me the most. After Luo Yao left, all the women breathed a sigh of relief, as if they had returned to the human world from hell. At this moment, a woman's eyes suddenly widened in disbelief. Luo Yao, the young lady of the #1 plutocracy. Her voice was particularly abrupt in the quiet cell. The others heard this, first stunned, then dazed, as if petrified. Then, a feeling named fear washed over them like a tide. Everyone looked at Lu Rushua in unison. Lu Rushua felt a chill run down her spine, and a sense of foreboding welled up in her heart. What are you going to do? she asked in terror. The tough woman grinned, but her smile looked particularly ferocious at this moment. You offended CEO Luo, and you even drag us down with you. We naturally have to listen to CEO Luo's words and teach you a lesson. As a woman who has come to this kind of place, you must accept some bloody baptism. Lu Rushua shouted in despair. Don't come near me. Insert expression pack. Oh, when they dealt with Lu Rushua, they still had some bottom line. After all, she was about to go to court, so they couldn't make her look too bad. After she was sentenced, that's when her real suffering would begin. Luo Yao had been inside for a few hours. After coming out, she felt refreshed, and some of the violence that had been accumulating these days had also dissipated. The first reason she could go and trouble Lu Rushua today was that she indeed needed to release her violent urges. The second reason was that someone online had slandered Lin Ran, saying he liked Lu Rushua, which made her more and more angry the more she thought about it. She was like a provoked lioness, her protective instincts instantly exploding. She could not tolerate anyone desecrating Lin Ran in the slightest, even if it was just a false rumor. Enduring it would cause breast hyperplasia, backing down would lead to uterine fibroids. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got, the more manic she became. But she couldn't bear to do anything to Lin Ran, so she could only go find trouble with Lu Rushua. Giving Lu Rushua a taste of bitterness before the interrogation was a way of letting her experience it in advance. Thinking of this, Luo Yao went to the suburban women's prison and scouted out a few reliable women inside. Finally, Luo Yao returned to the estate, just in time to see Lin Ran, who had just closed his live stream. Aran. Luo Yao's voice carried a trace of tenderness, an emotion that only appeared when she was facing Lin Ran. Yao, you're back. How was your day? Lin Ran asked with a smile, his smile like sunshine that could disperse the haze in Luo Yao's heart. Luo Yao nodded. I'm in a good mood today. Aran, what are you doing? Luo Yao naturally knew that Lin Ran had just been live streaming. She had watched it on her way back. Just finished the live stream. I was about to make you dinner. Due to various matters recently, Lin Ran hadn't cooked for Luo Yao in several days. In the past, Luo Yao had never liked Lin Ran doing these things, feeling that her Ran should be admired in her golden cage, like a precious work of art. But now, she found that she also liked this Lin Ran who was busy for her. This liking was like a seed, slowly sprouting and growing in her heart. Okay, then I'll join you, Luo Yao said, and prepared to walk to the kitchen. Lin Ran quickly stopped her, his eyes full of doting. Wife, if I've done something wrong, you can hit me or scold me, but not cook for me to eat. Even someone as emotionally reserved as Luo Yao was made a little shy by Lin Ran's words. Her cheeks flushed slightly, like a blooming peach blossom. Then I'll go upstairs to change first. Luo Yao turned and left. Lin Ran watched her back, a smile playing on his lips, before starting to prepare dinner. Soon, Lin Ran had cooked all the carefully prepared dishes. These things were more than familiar to him. He was like an elegant artist, brandishing kitchen utensils in the kitchen, creating delicious works of art. But because it was for Luo Yao, he was extremely serious while ensuring speed, pouring his love into every step. Time to eat. Lin Ran's voice came from the dining room. I want hubby to feed me. Luo Yao's soft voice came, and Lin Ran's whole body trembled. Luo Yao usually called him Ran, rarely using a term like hubby. Lin Ran was so flustered that he was a little beside himself. Okay, my pleasure. Lin Ran walked over to Luo Yao, feeding her while admiring her slightly puffy little cheeks. She looked extremely cute. Choo choo choo, Ran. The food you make, choo choo choo, is so delicious, choo choo choo. Uncle Fu had said that Luo Yao had anorexia, and she was only willing to eat things he made, even if it was poison. Thinking of this, Lin Ran's heart filled with sweetness. While enjoying being fed by Lin Ran, Luo Yao suddenly asked a question. When I'm old and can't move, will you still feed me like this? Lin Ran let out a laugh. Luo Yao's face immediately turned cold. She thought Lin Ran was laughing at her. Lin Ran quickly explained, Of course I will. I was just thinking about when we're both old, sitting in rocking chairs with no teeth left, still feeding each other, one bite for you, one bite for me. The image is very vivid and comical. Luo Yao imagined this scene, as if seeing the future, a future full of warmth and love. Ran, I'm going to reward you today. A mysterious glint flickered in Luo Yao's eyes. Lin Ran subconsciously touched his kidneys. Feeling they weren't so sore anymore, he said with a smile, Okay. The night was always wonderful. In the profound mysteries of the universe, humans could best unleash their nature. In this warm bedroom, Luo Yao and Lin Ran were like two souls snuggled together. Equals, imagining it is also beautiful. Yao Yao, tomorrow is our world for two time again. Lin Ran said softly. Luo Yao also showed a look of anticipation. She was now more and more eager for the weekend, which was her exclusive time with our Ran. In the past, she felt there was no difference between Monday and the weekend. Every day was so plain and even somewhat boring. But now, she just wanted to be with Lin Ran every day, as if Lin Ran was the entire meaning of her life. This weekend, where's our Ran planning to go? Luo Yao asked. Is there anything you want to do? Lin Ran asked back. He hoped this weekend could be spent entirely according to Luo Yao's wishes. As long as I'm with our Ran, I like everything. You like everything? Actually, I have a plan too. I want to do all the things couples do with you. In fact, Lin Ran was also an ordinary person, longing for a simple and sweet love, no different from everyone in front of the screen. All wanting to have a home of their own, someone who loves them, someone to be with when sick, someone to feed them, and someone to embrace while sleeping in the dead of night. I'll listen to you. Aran, you've been busy with your own things these past few days. Have you forgotten about me? Luo Yao wasn't pretending to be angry. She was really a little angry. Lin Ran's actions these past few days were indeed courting death. Lin Ran quickly denied it. He held Luo Yao's hand and looked into her eyes. You're wronging me, wife. I was just inspecting my properties these past few days. The moment I'm free, I think of you. You know that. Lin Ran was also preparing for his next meeting with Little Black. Although the time away might not be long, he had to take care of some unstable factors. He didn't want these things to affect his time with Luo Yao. Luo Yao snuggled into Lin Ran's arms. She really liked how Lin Ran was always clinging to her now. This feeling made her feel deeply loved. Do I know? Don't you know? Luo Yao neither nodded nor shook her head, but leaned against Lin Ran and slowly fell asleep. She was too tired, and her sleep was usually poor. It was Lin Ran who helped her slowly return to a normal person's sleep schedule. This feeling of being able to fall asleep peacefully was unimaginable in the past 20-plus years. Only insomniacs know this kind of living death, listless torment, especially watching the person next to them sleep soundly, wanting to strangle them. Lin Ran gently tapped Luo Yao's head, as if treating a rare treasure. He whispered, Then how about we go to the movies tomorrow morning and the amusement park in the afternoon? His voice was as gentle as a breeze caressing a lake, creating ripples of warmth. Luo Yao was already asleep, but she still subconsciously scratched her cheek. She looked extremely cute and murmured, Okay, low-life stargazer. Seeing Luo Yao sleeping like a little kitten, Lin Ran's heart was about to melt. Her slightly pouted lips were like a budding flower, delicate and tempting. Her long eyelashes cast a fan-shaped shadow on her eyelids, like the gentle fluttering of a butterfly's wings. Her serene face radiated a charming glow, making Lin Ran want to freeze this beautiful moment forever. It was hard to imagine that this cute and soft woman would be the terrifying psycho plutocrat people feared when she was awake. In the business world, she was resolute and decisive, her gaze as sharp as an eagle's, her decisions as swift as an axe. Those who dared to oppose her trembled before her. Only Lin Ran could experience this contrast. He knew that beneath the seemingly cold and ruthless exterior, there was a heart that was only gentle to him. Good night, and may the rest of our lives be peaceful. Lin Ran placed another gentle kiss on Luo Yao's forehead, his eyes full of deep affection. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the gaps in the curtains, casting a golden veil over the room. Just after breakfast, Luo Yao asked like a child eagerly awaiting a gift, Didn't you say you were taking me to the movies? And to the amusement park? Her eyes were sparkling with excitement. Lin Ran asked with a bewildered expression, You weren't asleep last night? He scratched his head, looking at Luo Yao with some confusion. I was asleep. I heard you say in my dream. Luo Yao replied with a slightly dangerous smile. Lin Ran, still confused, pressed on, Did I say anything else in the dream? You also said you wanted to make me the happiest woman in the world, that you would treat me with all your heart for the rest of our lives, and never let me get hurt. Luo Yao tilted her head, as if she was genuinely trying to recall. Lin Ran? Did I say all that? He was a bit surprised, but seeing Luo Yao's happy expression, his heart was also filled with sweetness. Yes, that's exactly what I told you. I dreamed it too. But do you remember how you answered me in your dream? Luo Yao frowned, looking at Lin Ran strangely. You're not just making things up, are you? Lin Ran was a loss for words, thinking to himself, Weren't you the one who started making things up? He looked at Luo Yao, a hint of teasing in his eyes. Of course not, Luo Yao said with a serious face. Then I don't remember how I answered. Help me remember. A slight smile tugged at the corner of Lin Ran's mouth. You said if I dared to lie to you, you'd make me bite the corner of a table and then hit me hard on the head until all my teeth fell out. So I'd never dare to lie to you again, Lin Ran said with a smile. Luo Yao nodded. She also remembered having said something like that to Lin Ran before. That's right, I did say that. So you can't lie to me. There was a hint of warning in her eyes. Lin Ran took Luo Yao's hand, which was soft and warm, and said with a smile, Let's go to the movies. Luo Yao looked puzzled. The estate has a movie theater. Where are you taking me? She asked, blinking at Lin Ran. Lin Ran? The estate has a movie theater? That's great. A flash of surprise crossed his eyes. Uncle Fu, please prepare some soup and send it to the movie theater, he shouted towards the door. Yes, young Master Lin. Uncle Fu's voice came from the distance. Lin Ran glanced at Uncle Fu. Why did he feel that Uncle Fu had been getting more and more listless lately? Uncle Fu's once erect posture seemed a bit stooped, his handsome face had a touch of fatigue, and his bright eyes had lost their usual luster, as if covered by a faint layer of gray. A perfectly handsome uncle was starting to decline? Was he getting old? Uncle Fu not only prepared the soup, but also thoughtfully contacted a soon-to-be-released movie and obtained the screening rights. On the soft sofa of the private cinema, the lights gradually dimmed, and the movie's images flickered on the screen. However, Lin Ran and Luo Yao had no intention of watching the movie's content. They chose to perform a live-action version. Why isn't the performance described in detail now? Because it's really impossible to edit. For Tomato, it's truly beyond words. Their combos are something we mortals can hardly bear. Sadness. Wah. When they came out of the private cinema, Lin Ran felt as if he had been baptized. But he still dragged his tired body to prepare a loving lunch. When there was nothing else to do, he still had to take care of his wife's stomach. After all, Luo Yao had stomach problems, and he didn't want Uncle Fu to one day hold Luo Yao's medical report and say to him, Are you satisfied? It's because you didn't cook that the young miss has a gastric hemorrhage. Watching Lin Ran busy himself, Luo Yao felt a bit embarrassed, but didn't stop him. Being able to eat Lin Ran's cooking had always been one of her favorite things. The aroma of the food wafted through the air, each dish like a work of art, with enticing colors and fragrant smells. Of course, it had to be imported to taste better. In the afternoon, the two finally left the estate. The estate doesn't have an amusement park, Lin Ran said with a smile. Uncle Fu, contact someone immediately to build one, right next to the estate, Luo Yao said nonchalantly, as if building an amusement park was no different from building a toilet for her. I was just joking. I'm not actually sick, Lin Ran quickly waved his hands. Do I look like I'm joking? Why haven't you gone yet? Uncle Fu, yes, miss. Sigh. They are all difficult to serve. And young Master Lin, you clearly know the miss loves to give you things, yet you still say it? You show off. You show off. You're so damn good at showing off. With Lin Ran and Luo Yao's identities, they would definitely be recognized at the amusement park, so the two disguised themselves. Lin Ran wore a black baseball cap, pulled down low, and a black mask. Luo Yao wore a pair of large sunglasses that covered almost half her face and a stylish hat with decorations that sparkled subtly in the sunlight. With full VIP paid access to skip lines, they were like privileged guests, walking directly through the crowd towards the rides. At this moment, the difference between the rich and ordinary people was vividly displayed, and the surrounding people cast envious glances. Lin Ran sat on the pendulum ride. As the machine started, his face gradually turned pale, and he began to scream wildly. The screams echoed through the amusement park like a symphony of terror. He tightly gripped Luo Yao's hand, his body swaying violently with the pendulum, feeling as if his soul was about to be flung out. But Luo Yao didn't say a word, just quietly watched Lin Ran. There was no mockery in her eyes, only full of love and a trace of heartache. Aram looks so cute when he's scared, Luo Yao thought. Aram looks so adorable when he's happy. I really want to squish him. She looked at Lin Ran's face, slightly distorted by fear, yet found it incredibly cute. When the pendulum finally stopped, Lin Ran got off and started vomiting. Aram looks so pitiful when he's vomiting wildly. It really breaks my heart. Oh my, how can Aram be so versatile? Luo Yao marveled in her heart. When Lin Ran had thrown up most of his lunch, Luo Yao asked, Want to play more? Lin Ran quickly waved his hands. Yao Yao, this is not something humans play. People who like to play this are not human. I really can't go on. His face was still a bit pale, his lips trembling slightly. Regarding Lin Ran's cowardice, Luo Yao showed no dislike. As the saying goes, in the eyes of a lover, beauty is inevitable. In her eyes, everything about Lin Ran was so cute, whether it was his bravery or his cowardice. And Lin Ran, from beginning to end, was never the protagonist of this world. He didn't have superhuman combat skills, no golden finger or system, and no meticulous mind. He was just a somewhat useless freeloader. He didn't have the halo of a novel's protagonist, wouldn't turn the tide at a critical moment, and possessed no earth-shattering abilities. He was like an ordinary person in an ordinary world, with an ordinary person's joys, sorrows, and anger. Could such a person really be a protagonist? However, in Luo Yao's world, he was the one and only protagonist. Just then, an unexpected figure appeared. It was Zhang Xiaolong, who had brought his sister here. The siblings didn't play any thrilling rides because Zhang Xiaowan's health wasn't very good. Zhang Xiaowan was dressed in denim, but her face was a bit pale. She was full of curiosity about everything around her. They came here just because they liked the happy atmosphere, and Zhang Xiaowan found that watching others scream was much more interesting than going on the rides herself. Just now, when Lin Ran was screaming on the ride, she had been watching him intently, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Senior Lin Ran. Her voice was clear and loud, standing out in the noisy amusement park. Zhang Xiaolong was stunned. He looked closely and realized it was indeed his boss. Then he looked at Zhang Xiaowan in surprise. You can recognize him from so far away. Sister, you're amazing. He looked at Zhang Xiaowan with some admiration, thinking that he hadn't even recognized him himself. Of course, I might not recognize others, but Senior Lin Ran is too dazzling. Anyone who isn't blind can recognize him, Zhang Xiaowan said proudly, her eyes filled with admiration for Lin Ran. Zhang Xiaolong, so am I blind? I can't even recognize my own boss. He shook his head helplessly. Besides, Lin Ran was wearing a mask and a hat. How could he be recognized? Lin Ran was feeling dizzy. After resting for a while, he vaguely heard someone calling him. He looked up in confusion, searching around. Luo Yao frowned and glanced at Uncle Fu. Uncle Fu understood immediately and sent someone over. Zhang Xiaowan, what are you doing? Why are you stopping me? She looked at the people blocking her, her eyes flashing with anger. Xiao Tong, I'm sorry, miss. Our young Master Lin and CEO Luo do not wish to see anyone right now. Xiao Tong said expressionlessly. His duty was to protect the privacy of Lin Ran and Luo Yao. Zhang Xiaowan was stunned. Luo Yao is here too. A complex emotion flashed in her eyes, surprise and disappointment. Zhang Xiaolong's eyes widened immediately, and he covered Zhang Xiaowan's mouth. I'm sorry, big brother. I'll take my sister away now. He knew this was not good. If they annoyed Luo Yao, there would be no good outcome. Forcibly dragging Zhang Xiaowan away, Zhang Xiaolong asked in disbelief. Sister, you don't happen to like Lin Ran, do you? He's Luo Yao's husband. Also, how can you call Luo Yao by her full name? His eyes held a trace of worry and reproach. Zhang Xiaowan asked, puzzled. Aren't names for people to call? As for whether I like Senior Lin Ran, that's a certainty. I never thought liking Senior Lin Ran was something to be ashamed of. Her gaze was firm, without a hint of retreat. Zhang Xiaolong looked at Zhang Xiaowan in disbelief. Sister, you. He was somewhat surprised by his sister's boldness and persistence. Of course, I also know that Senior Lin Ran is married. I don't plan on being a third party. I just wanted to talk to Senior Lin Ran. After all, he is my lifesaver. I won't interfere in their relationship. Brother, you really don't need to worry. Tears welled up in Zhang Xiaowan's eyes. She was truly aggrieved. Zhang Xiaolong was completely bewildered. But, if you really don't want to ruin Lin Ran's relationship, shouldn't you stay away from him? He tried to persuade Zhang Xiaowan, not wanting to see his sister fall into this fruitless relationship. Zhang Xiaowan was silent for a moment, and then tears fell like broken strings of pearls. Brother, do you know? When I found out Senior Lin Ran was with Luo Yao, it felt like my world had collapsed. I genuinely hope Senior Lin Ran can be happy, but I can't control my thoughts of him. I don't know what's wrong with me. Her voice was choked with sobs, her shoulders trembling. Zhang Xiaolong quickly wiped away Zhang Xiaowan's tears, his heart aching for his sister. He didn't know how to comfort her, and could only say some empty words. For example, sister, don't cry. Everything will be okay, which was no different from the sayings of a hopeless simp. He didn't understand this kind of unrequited love, as he had never even been in a relationship. He could only use these pale words to try and alleviate his sister's pain. At the amusement park, Lin Ran frowned and asked, Did someone just call me? Why do I feel like I heard my name? He rubbed his temples, trying to clear his head. Luo Yao said coldly, No one. You heard wrong. An imperceptible coldness flashed in her eyes. Maybe, even if someone did call me, I couldn't be bothered to answer her. After all, my wife is by my side. The most important thing now is to accompany my wife, Lin Ran said with a smile. He didn't notice Luo Yao's strangeness and just held her hand tightly. Lin Ran was already used to Luo Yao's sudden coldness. After all, his wife's face could change at lightning speed, like the ever-changing weather. But he knew that at times like this, if he said something that could make her happy, her expression would change back. Sure enough, Luo Yao returned to her previous state, linking her arm with Lin Ran's. The two walked out of the amusement park together, while Zhang Xiaonuan could only watch their happiness from a distance, her eyes filled with tears and reluctance. What? You're not playing anymore? Lin Ran asked, looking at Luo Yao. Luo Yao, not playing anymore. Too many people. I don't like it, she said with a frown, a flash of disgust in her eyes. She disliked this noisy and crowded environment. Lin Ran felt that something was not right, but he couldn't pinpoint the reason. But if his wife didn't want to play anymore, then he had to listen to his wife. What was that saying? Listen to your wife, and you'll have cigarettes, wine, and money. He shook his head with a smile and followed Luo Yao out of the amusement park. Sitting in the luxury van, the dizzy spell hadn't completely subsided, so Lin Ran rested his head directly on Luo Yao's lap. Luo Yao's lap was soft and comfortable, like the most comfortable pillow in the world. As a faint fragrance entered his nose, the unique scent of Luo Yao's perfume, Lin Ran slowly closed his eyes. When he woke up again, the two were still in the same position. How long did I sleep? Lin Ran asked, a bit groggy. 2 hours and 21 minutes, Luo Yao replied, looking at him. Lin Ran sat up immediately, his first concern for her. I slept that long? Is your leg numb? He looked at Luo Yao guiltily. Luo Yao shook her head. You can sleep here forever. It would never go numb for my entire life. Lin Ran was deeply moved. He stayed with Luo Yao in the car for a while longer before getting out and returning to the villa. The dizzy spells had finally subsided, and Lin Ran was back to his lively and energetic self. He thought to himself, I'll spend the weekend properly with my wife, and then I'll just wait for Xiaohei to find me. His eyes twinkled with anticipation. He was both nervous and excited for Xiaohei's arrival. Time flew by to the next day. Lin Ran was about to go out, but Luo Yao stopped him. Ran, as long as I can be with you, it doesn't matter where we are. Why don't you accompany me fishing today? You know how to fish? He looked at Luo Yao in surprise. In his memory, Luo Yao had never fished before. I don't, but I can learn. It wasn't that Luo Yao hated the outdoors, but rather she hated the women outside who coveted Lin Ran and all men other than Lin Ran. So, to sum it up, Luo Yao hated people. There was a fish pond in the manor. It was very large, its surface shimmering under the sunlight. Lin Ran and Luo Yao sat by the edge and began to fish. But after a long time, not a single fish took the bait. Lin Ran asked with some doubt, Are there even any fish in here? He frowned, looking at the calm water. Luo Yao said with a straight face, There were, but when you fed the crocodiles the pesticide, some of it flowed in here, so now there aren't any. Lin Ran froze. Then, even if there were fish, we couldn't eat them, right? He looked at Luo Yao, astonished, thinking what a huge blunder this was. It's fine, the water was changed a long time ago. There just aren't any fish. Lin Ran pulled his fishing rod out of the water. Then what are we fishing for here? He looked helplessly at the empty hook. Didn't you say you'd accompany me? Does it matter what we're fishing for? Luo Yao looked at him and asked quizzically. Lin Ran sat down again and recast his line. You're right, it doesn't matter. Let's continue. He smiled, realizing he'd been a bit too serious. As long as he could be with his wife, whether there were fish or not truly didn't matter. You want fish? Honey, this is a soul-cultivating activity. Catching a fish would bring us joy. That's simple. She gave a mysterious smile. Lin Ran. He looked at Luo Yao in confusion, wondering what she was up to. 10 minutes later, several divers appeared underwater, hooking fish onto their hooks one after another. Lin Ran watched this scene in astonishment. Ran, what do you think? Are there a lot of fish? Luo Yao blinked her large, bright eyes, looking like a little wife waiting for praise. Lin Ran burst out laughing at Luo Yao's peculiar train of thought. Honey, you're truly invincible. Really, I'm impressed, he said between laughs, his eyes filled with deep affection for Luo Yao. In his eyes, Luo Yao was like a treasure chest, always bringing him unexpected surprises. Seeing such a joyous smile bloom on Lin Ran's face, Luo Yao suddenly had an epiphany. As I thought, this activity really does need fish to make people happy. Yes, Lin Ran thought so too. And so, one fish after another was reeled in. In the end, the fish cage was so full it couldn't hold any more. The fish squeezed against each other in the small space, their scales rubbing together with a rustling sound. Lin Ran released some of the smaller ones, then suddenly heard Luo Yao ask, "Ran, do you want to go see Lu Rushua tomorrow?" Luo Yao's abrupt change of topic caught Lin Ran off guard. Why? Why bring her up all of a sudden? Every time Lin Ran thought of Lu Rushua, a wave of disgust washed over him. A faint, cold smile touched the corners of Luo Yao's lips. Tomorrow is the day Lu Rushua is tried and sentenced. Her voice was flat, but it carried a hint of schadenfreude. Lin Ran froze. So soon, he was a little surprised. Lu Rushua's case wasn't complicated at all, and with Su Kai handling it, the arraignment process was expedited. As an experienced lawyer, Su Kai moved with ease in the legal field. He had organized all the evidence meticulously, ensuring the entire trial process proceeded without the slightest delay. Then, can I go and watch? I want to see her sentenced with my own eyes. Lin Ran wanted to witness justice being served firsthand. Of course, I'll have Fu Bo accompany you. Lin Ran unhooked the fish he had just caught and put it in the bucket. Aren't you coming with me? He asked, looking at Luo Yao with a trace of doubt in his eyes. Logically, Luo Yao should be very eager to see Lu Rushua go to prison. I won't go. I'm afraid I won't be able to resist finishing her off on the spot. Luo Yao's eyes narrowed. For now, she would let Lu Rushua face legal punishment. When the opportunity arose, she would use her own methods to make her suffer even more. If Lin Ran remembered correctly, this was the first time Luo Yao had trusted him to see Lu Rushua alone. In the past, Luo Yao was always on high alert around Lu Rushua, afraid she would do something to harm Lin Ran. Or more accurately, afraid Lin Ran would have some special feelings for her. This time, her willingness to let Lin Ran go alone was a sign of her trust in him. All right, I'll go see her final outcome. Lin Ran prepared to face the person who had once brought him countless pain. Ran, I caught a fish. Help me. Soon, a diver was reeled up. Miss, young Master Lin, I'm sorry my mistake. You pulled too hard. I really couldn't break free. The two had a very happy weekend. As Monday arrived, Lin Ran went to the courthouse, where he met Su Kai. The solemn courthouse building stood there, its white marble pillars looking exceptionally grand. The national emblem on the entrance shimmered in the sunlight, giving off a sense of gravity. Lawyer Su, long time no see. Lin Ran smiled and greeted Su Kai, who looked particularly sharp in a well-fitted suit. Long time no see, young Master Lin. Why are you here by yourself today? He looked at Lin Ran with a hint of inquiry in his eyes. He was also puzzled as to why Luo Yao would let Lin Ran see Lu Rushua here. In his mind, Luo Yao's protection of Lin Ran was almost all-encompassing. Lin Ran gave a natural smile. It's nothing. My wife has work to attend to. Then let's go in, Su Kai said, leading Lin Ran into the courthouse. Entering the courtroom, the rows of seats were neatly arranged. The public gallery was already partially filled. Lin Ran found a seat and waited for the trial to begin. A serious atmosphere filled the courtroom. Everyone spoke in hushed tones, as if afraid to disturb the solemnity. After a short wait, Lu Rushua's case began. As Lu Rushua appeared, all eyes in the courtroom were drawn to her. Dressed in a prison uniform, her hair was somewhat messy, but her former beauty was still discernible. Her eyes immediately found Lin Ran, a flash of surprise crossing them before she gave him a very coy smile. It was the same flirtatious smile she used to give him on campus, filled with ambiguity. A chill ran down Lin Ran's spine, and a wave of disgust washed over him. He thought to himself, how can you still smile when you're about to go to prison? And what's the meaning of smiling at me? Do you still think I like you? Thus, Lin Ran stood up and shouted, Lu Rushua, you should go back to Gotham City. Batman said he's not going to catch you anymore. Everyone. Court officer. Attention in the gallery. Young Master Lin? Would the observer please be seated? Phew, I saw his face just in time. My job is safe. Lu Rushua was stunned for a moment, but then she came to terms with it. Brother Lin Ran must be acting this way, so Luo Yao's people won't see that he still loves me. Brother Lin Ran must be so sad. Lu Rushua could just die crying. At the trial, Lu Rushua confessed to all the crimes alleged by the prosecution. She kept her head down, her voice soft, but every word echoed in the courtroom. The victim's parents sat in the plaintiff's gallery. Hearing Lu Rushua's confession, they wailed and cried, their sorrowful sobs threatening to drown out the entire courtroom. Their eyes were filled with hatred and pain. They looked ready to pounce on Lu Rushue and tear her apart. In their eyes, Lu Rushue was a demon who had taken their child's life. No matter how detestable a person was, in their parents' eyes, they were always a good child. They couldn't accept their child's death, much less accept that the murderer was standing right before them. Finally, under Su Kai's forceful reasoning, Lu Rushue was sentenced to 16 years, to be carried out immediately. Lu Rushue also expressed her guilt and would not appeal. Lin Ran let out a sigh of relief on the spot. His body relaxed slightly, a glint of satisfaction in his eyes. Seeing Lin Ran's expression, Lu Rushue thought he had a plan to save her, and she too felt relieved, giving him another smile. Unfortunately, after 2 days of hell in the detention center, the bruises and paleness on her face made her smile look particularly grotesque, even uglier than if she were crying. Lin Ran was completely baffled. Seriously, are you sick? Why do you keep smiling at me? He couldn't help but curse under his breath, his aversion to Lu Rushue intensifying. After Lu Rushue was led away, Su Kai walked over to Lin Ran with the verdict. Mr. Lin, Lu Rushue is finished this time. 16 years. Her youth will be spent inside. Lin Ran looked on with a sigh. He watched Lu Rushue being led away, his mind a swirl of thoughts. Lu Rushue? Oh, Lu Rushue, you brought all of this upon yourself. To think of how much I once loved you, how I would have given everything for you. But what did you do? You used all sorts of methods to PUA me, making me suffer endlessly in our relationship, always stringing me along, making me waver between love and hate. And if that wasn't enough, you conspired with Lu Yuemei and Lin Jian to kill me. That is a pain I can never forget in this lifetime. Your current suffering is all karma for your past deeds. It turned out the ending truly could be changed. Justice would eventually prevail. Lin Ran felt no sympathy for Lu Rushue's fate, only a sense of righteous satisfaction. If he felt sorry for an enemy like her, what was the difference between him and a saint? However, the fact that the current Lu Rushue wasn't as miserable as she was in his past life left Lin Ran slightly disappointed. He secretly vowed that on the day she was released, he would find a way to send her to a more interesting place, to make her pay an even heavier price for her actions. But that was a matter for the future. Lin Ran left the courthouse. At the same time, Lu Rushue was being escorted to the first women's prison on the city's outskirts. The transport vehicle sped along the highway, the scenery outside flashing past like Lu Rushue's bygone freedom. As the vehicle slowly came to a halt, Lu Rushue finally arrived at the cage that every woman feared. The prison's high walls looked particularly grim under the sun. The black iron gates were shut tight, like a giant mouth ready to swallow anyone who entered. Looking at the towering walls, Lu Rushue finally began to feel fear. Her body trembled slightly, her eyes filled with terror, as if once she walked through that gate, there would be no coming out. Pushed from behind by the guards, Lu Rushue walked inside. Her legs felt as if they were filled with lead. Every step was a struggle, and her knees were starting to feel weak. Brother Lin Ran will find a way. Lu Rushue, you have to be strong. As long as you're alive, anything is possible. She kept trying to encourage herself, to pull herself together, but the endless fears still engulfed her like a tide. Once inside the iron gate, Lu Rushue was handed over to the prison guards. At that moment, she was about to face the darkest period of her life. After collecting her things, Lu Rushue walked down the prison corridor, holding a basin. Lu Rushue, a guard shouted. The voice echoed down the corridor, exceptionally jarring. Here! Lu Rushue held her daily necessities and stood ramrod straight, trying her best to appear calm. Her beautiful face seemed particularly out of place in this gloomy environment. Her features were still delicate, like a flower blooming in hell. At the same time, many inmates pressed their faces to the bars, scrutinizing the newcomer. Their eyes were filled with curiosity and malice, like a pack of hungry wolves spotting prey. A beauty like this is a murderer? They secretly guessed at Lu Rushue's story while also plotting how to treat her. Before she had even arrived, the bossier had already given instructions to educate this girl named Lu Rushue. Everyone knew what the word educate meant in this place. It was a cruel form of torment, a dual assault on one's dignity and body. And so, many greedy eyes were fixed on her. Some looked at her with pity, but that pity was tinged with schadenfreude. Everyone knew that starting tonight, this girl was in for a bad time. This is your place. The guard pointed to a nearby iron door. The rules of conduct are posted on the wall inside. You are to follow all the rules, understand? The guard's voice was stern, devoid of any emotion. Yes. Lu Rushue stepped into the cell, her every move betraying her noble nature. She tried to maintain her dignity, not wanting to show weakness in front of these people. "Who the fuck told you to go in?" The guard kicked her square in the behind. Unprepared, Lu Rushua fell face first, her belongings scattering across the floor. This was a show of force, something almost every newcomer had to endure. The guard's face showed no remorse. He had seen this scene far too many times. The entire prison erupted in jeering laughter. The sound echoed through the cell block, a mockery and a sentence for Lu Rushua. Lu Rushua stood up, her face expressionless. A flash of humiliation crossed her eyes, but she quickly masked it. She looked around the cell. The small space was filled with a foul odor, the walls were mottled, and the bunks were old and broken. She was startled to find the people inside looking at her with sly grins. Their gazes were like knives piercing her heart. Her heart skipped a beat, and she suddenly had a bad feeling. "Oomph." The guard snorted and slammed the cell door shut. The heavy clang echoed in Lu Rushua's ears like a death sentence for her freedom. A single door. Paradise outside, hell inside. Even he knew this woman was in for a rough time, and he had long grown accustomed and indifferent to it. After the guard left, Lu Rushua first bowed. "I'm new here. Please take care of me." She tried to use politeness to diffuse some of the hostility, but she didn't know that in here, politeness was the most useless thing. "Take care of you? No problem." A tough-looking woman in the corner stood up. She was tall and muscular, her eyes glinting fiercely. She hardly looked like a woman at all. She walked up to Lu Rushua and, without a word, slapped her across the face. The blow was so powerful that Lu Rushua's face instantly swelled up. The woman chuckled. "The Kyoto University belle?" Her voice was full of mockery. Hearing this, Lu Rushua straightened her back and said proudly, "That's me." She didn't want to show weakness in front of these people, even though she knew it might bring her more trouble. The woman punched her in the nose. Lu Rushua's body flew backward, landing on the concrete floor. Blood streamed from her nose, and the pain almost made her pass out. "In here, you're nothing." The woman took off her prison uniform and gestured downwards, an extremely humiliating act. "If you're obedient, I'll take good care of you. Now, show me what you can do." The woman's eyes shone with a perverse excitement. The other women also gathered around, their faces twisted into demonic grins like a pack of she-devils. Lu Rushua lay on the ground, a beast-like gasp escaping her throat. Her heart was filled with despair, but she kept telling herself, "Brother Lin Ran will come save me. I can't fall here." "You don't seem convinced? Still think this is the outside world." As soon as she finished speaking, the other women around her stood up, looming over Lu Rushua like a dark cloud. Their fists and feet rained down on her. The sound of blows landing echoed, but Lu Rushua bit her teeth and didn't make a sound. She couldn't fall. She had to endure, waiting for a rescue that might never come. "If you don't want to be beaten to death, you'd better do as I say." The woman's hand rubbed against Lu Rushua's face. The rough palm sent a chill through Lu Rushua. The people who ended up here were far from gentle. This was the darkest corner of humanity, a breeding ground for violence and sin. Lu Rushua smelled an odor that made her nauseous, and she vomited on the spot. The smell of the vomit spread through the small cell, making it even more sickening. "Fucking disgusting. I've never seen anyone as disgusting as you." The woman casually pointed at someone. "You go and initiate this university belle." The chosen woman replied excitedly, "You got it." Soon after, Lu Rushua's earth-shattering screams echoed through the prison, as if they were retribution for her past deeds. At that moment, a voice came from the next cell. "Sister Shah, how is she?" "Not bad. Very much to the sister's taste." The voice was full of evil and satisfaction, as if appreciating a wonderful performance. A guard came to check on the noise. Sister Shah reported, "The newcomer started it." The guard glanced at Lu Rushua with disgust. "Causing trouble on your first day? Come with me to solitary." Sister Shah said, "Sir, let me go too. I can take care of the new girl." "Fine." Lu Rushua was taken to solitary confinement at the Dongtian Manor. After returning from court, Lin Ran lay on the comfortable sofa, his eyes revealing a mix of anxiety and anticipation, like a child waiting for a gift. But as time ticked by, what he was waiting for didn't appear. It felt like there was an empty space in his heart that couldn't be filled. In a fit of pique, he said, "Fu Bo, give me a tracker. The kind for pets." Fu Bo's pupils quaked, as if he had heard the most unbelievable thing in the world. "Young master, you dared to do that to Miss." His voice trembled, his eyes filled with terror. He couldn't imagine Lin Ran saying something like that. What was the difference between that and seeking death? Lin Ran quickly cut him off. What are you thinking? I just want to put on my little cat. She's so hard to find sometimes. He shook his head helplessly, amused and exasperated by Fu Bo's reaction. Fu Bo looked confused, a crack appearing on his usually stern face. Young master, you have a cat? How come I didn't know? He scratched his head. Lin Ran, I took an astray, but I don't know where she's run off to now. Should I send people to look for it? Fu Bo asked. No need. You won't be able to find her. Just get the tracker ready. The next time I see her, I'm definitely putting it on her. Lin Ran waved his hand. He knew the cat's habits. She was like a gust of wind, hard to catch. Lin Ran was genuinely angry. He had prepared almost everything, so why hadn't Xiao Hei shown up yet? He paced back and forth in the room, filled with frustration. She could come and go as she pleased, and when she didn't want to, he couldn't find her. How could the world be so unfair? In his eyes, Xiao Hei was like a mischievous sprite, always disappearing when he was most looking forward to seeing her. Fu Bo sent someone to prepare the tracker, while he himself practiced Tai Chi in the manner. His movements were fluid and graceful, each form filled with power and charm, showcasing the mature handsomeness of an older man. His steady steps and extended posture seemed to merge with the surrounding environment. Just then, Wang Ma happened to appear. At this time every day, she needed to clean the mirrored surfaces here, ensuring not a single print or speck of dust remained. She approached with her cleaning tools, her steps light. Fu Bo stole a glance at Wang Ma, then resumed his serious Tai Chi practice, though a complex look flashed in his eyes. Because Wang Ma hadn't looked at him, even once from start to finish. Wang Ma, are you getting used to things here? This was the first time Lin Ran had asked Wang Ma about her work situation at the manor. He looked at her with a gentle expression. Wang Ma gave a kind smile and nodded. It's fine. I'll work hard to satisfy the butler. Her voice was gentle, but her words made both Lin Ran and Fu Bo freeze. Shouldn't she have said, satisfy the master? A flicker of doubt rose in Lin Ran's heart. He felt there was a hidden meaning in Wang Ma's words. He gave Fu Bo a strange look. Fu Bo scratched his head awkwardly, cursing old green tea bitch in his mind. He knew Wang Ma had said that for him to hear, and it seemed to hide some unknown conflict. Lin Ran didn't say much more. Working at the manor meant you had to satisfy Fu Bo. That was part of the rules. He also knew there must be a story between Fu Bo and Wang Ma, but since neither of them spoke of it, he couldn't ask. He wasn't the type to pry for gossip. He respected everyone's privacy and didn't want to interfere too much in the subtle relationships within the manor. All right, if you need anything, just let Fu Bo know. Don't mind that he looks so stern all the time. He's actually a pretty good guy, Lin Ran said with a smile, hoping to maintain a harmonious atmosphere in the manor. Fu Bo was completely moved by Lin Ran's words. So, in the young master's eyes, he was a good person. A warm feeling spread through his heart, and he looked at Lin Ran with even more affection. Wang Ma, I know. Fu Bo is a good person. Her tone was flat, but an imperceptible, strange light flashed in her eyes. Fu Bo. He was at a loss for words, not knowing how to respond to Wang Ma. I should get going. It's about time I start preparing dinner, Lin Ran said, heading towards the kitchen. He knew that good food could soothe some emotions, and he wanted to prepare a delicious meal for Luo Yao. Fu Bo actually wanted to stop Lin Ran. The chefs in a home like this were practically getting rusty. But the thought that Lin Ran could get Luo Yao to eat a full meal made him hold his tongue. A while later, Luo Yao returned. Her figure appeared at the manor's entrance like a beautiful scenic view. Seeing Lin Ran busy in the kitchen, an unprompted sense of happiness welled up inside her. It was the feeling of home. Ran. Yao Yao, you're back. Just a moment. Dinner's almost ready. Lin Ran heard Luo Yao's voice, turned his head, and gave her a warm smile. Luo Yao hoped that these peaceful and happy days could last forever. Every day, she would be responsible for earning money to support the family, and Lin Ran would be responsible for cooking to feed her. To her, this kind of life was a dream come true, one that was now within reach. Reaching out from behind, she hugged Lin Ran, feeling his warmth. Ran, how did you feel seeing Lu Rushua today? She asked softly, a trace of curiosity in her eyes. Lin Ran frowned. It felt like seeing a pile of shit. But I'm somewhat satisfied with her ending, though not completely satisfied. A hint of disgust flashed in his eyes. The thought of Lu Rushua made him sick, but he felt her sentence wasn't quite enough to quench his hatred. Luo Yao was silent for a moment before speaking again. Actually, I arranged for people to deal with Lu Rushua in the suburban prison. You won't blame me, will you, Ran? She looked at Lin Ran worriedly, not wanting him to have a bad impression of her because of this. Lin Rant's eyes widened as he looked at Luo Yao in pleasant surprise. How could I blame you? You're practically the worm in my stomach, doing the things I wanted to do but couldn't. His eyes shone with excitement, and he fully approved of Luo Yao's actions. Luo Yao was very pleased with Lin Rant's attitude and rewarded him with a passionate kiss. The kiss was fiery and sweet, as if time itself had stopped at that moment. After his rebirth, Lin Rant could feel that Luo Yao was different from before. The specific difference was her personality. The past Luo Yao was ruthless, unhinged, cold, and perverse. All the adjectives for a heartless person could be applied to her. She was like a rose with thorns, beautiful but unapproachable. The current Luo Yao had a touch more cuteness, playfulness, gentleness, and affection. So does our Ran like what I did? Of course I do. Yao Yao. I wish you could be like this forever. Lin Ran looked at Luo Yao, his eyes full of love. What if I change? Will you still like me? Lin Ran looked at Luo Yao and made a serious promise. Regardless of your appearance, I will never leave you. His gaze was firm, his voice steady. It was a vow from the bottom of his heart. In this world, what can often melt a person's heart is another person's heart. Besides that, money and power also have this effect, just not as lasting as a person's heart. In this world full of materialism and desire, true feelings are the most precious thing. All night, Lin Ran didn't hear a cat's meow. He lay in bed, tossing and turning, his thoughts constantly on Xiao He. Sometimes he really wanted to call the police, but he wasn't sure if the police would be responsible for finding his cat. The next morning, while Lin Ran was still asleep, his phone suddenly rang. He groggily picked it up and frowned. Young master, it's bad. Lin Tianba is causing trouble at the Saran Group. He's even live streaming, insisting that our properties are tofu dreg projects. The voice on the other end was frantic, as if the sky were falling. Lin Ran frowned. He had just gotten everything ready, and now this guy pulls a stunt like this right when he's about to see his little black cat. A wave of irritation washed over him. So, is it or isn't it? Young master, rest assured, our Linyuan Shengjing project was intended to be a benchmark for the Saran Group from its inception. The materials are absolutely solid. The person on the other end hurriedly explained. Lin Ran relaxed a bit. Looks like it's time to teach Lin Tianba a lesson. A fierce glint flashed in his eyes. Lin Tianba's actions had crossed his bottom line. All right, I'm on my way. Wait for me, Lin Ran said and hung up. Fubo, young master, are you going out on business? He saw Lin Ran's expression and knew something had happened. Yes, have all the bodyguards in the manor come with me. Lin Ran knew he had no fighting skills himself and could only rely on those around him. This was called borrowing strength. At a critical moment like this, he needed enough power to handle any potential dangers. Though a scumbag like Lin Tianba probably posed no real danger to him. The convoy of cars drove out of the manor, each luxurious vehicle gleaming in the sun as it headed towards the Saran Group. When they arrived, Lin Tianba was live streaming to his phone, dressed very respectably. He wore an expensive suit, his hair was impeccably combed, and he had a hypocritical smile on his face, trying to project an image of righteousness. I am a former chairman of the Saran Group. The Saran Group has kicked me out now, all because I wanted them to build Linyuan Shengjing to be sturdier. As a result, my own son conspired with other shareholders to oust me. Lin Ran may seem kind, but in reality, he's a black-hearted capitalist. His voice was loud, broadcasted to countless people through the live stream. His eyes shone with triumph, as if he could already see Lin Ran's downfall and ruin. Lin Ran let out a scoff. Lin Tianba really had the nerve to say all this. In truth, Lin Tianba knew this wouldn't pose much of a threat to Lin Ran. After all, he was just spouting nonsense. His real goal was to lure Lin Ran out, hoping that out of fear for the Saran Group's reputation, Lin Ran would help him pay off his debts. He was gambling that Lin Ran would compromise for the sake of the company's name. Suddenly, a handsome beyond words face appeared on his phone screen. Lin Tianba leaned closer to his phone to look and was instantly shocked. He hadn't expected Lin Ran to show up so quickly, and he didn't look flustered at all. He turned his head. Son, you're here. I've told you. We must have a conscience in business. Lin Tianba put on the air of a loving father. Lin Ran had his men restrain Lin Tianba directly, while he himself looked at the comments on the phone. As expected, they were vile with all sorts of insults. Lin Ran flashed a set of pearly whites. Hee. Sorry, you won't be able to see the live stream anymore, because the following scene will be rather terrifying. His tone was teasing, but a cold glint flashed in his eyes. As for you asking if our properties are tofu dreg projects, I can responsibly answer you. Even if they were, you wouldn't be the ones paying for it, so go wash up and go to sleep. I'll be reporting this to the police. If it's really shoddy, I'll naturally go to jail. If not, you know the drill. His voice was calm and powerful as it was broadcasted through the live stream. The comments section instantly went silent. Those who had been frantically slinging insults were stunned by Lin Rant's words. They began to ponder the meaning behind his statement, and the atmosphere of the entire live stream room became somewhat eerie. The memory of the last time netizens slandered Lin Ran and Luo Yao sent out lawyers' letters to each one of them instantly surfaced in everyone's minds. The scene was as vivid as if it were happening right now. Luo Yao was like an enraged lioness. Those who received the lawyers' letters were all terrified. The entire online world had been shaken by that powerful display. And so, the number of viewers in the live stream room dropped by more than half. They scattered like a flock of startled birds. The once bustling and noisy live stream room suddenly became deserted, leaving only Lin Tianba in front of the camera, looking somewhat at a loss. Lin ran into the live stream and looked at Lin Tianba with a blank expression. His gaze was like a cold blade, piercing straight at Lin Tianba, making one's blood run cold. Old beast, feeling itchy again lately? Lin Tianba's heart ached seeing Lin Rant's arrogant demeanor. His eyes were a mix of complex emotions. Surprise, anger, and a hint of imperceptible sadness. He didn't understand why his perfectly good son had suddenly become so rebellious. In his memory, the old Lin Ran was so obedient, like a gentle lamb who followed his every command. But now, the Lin Ran standing before him was like a stranger who made him feel fear. Little Ran, do you really not have any father-son affection? Are you really not going to kowtow and admit your mistake to me? Lin Tianba tried to use familial bonds to move Lin Ran. His voice trembled slightly, a sliver of hope in his eyes that Lin Ran might have a change of heart. No, I'm very angry right now, so I'm going to whip you. Literally. Lin Ran's tone was resolute, without a hint of hesitation. Lin Tianba instantly tensed up. You're not planning to finish this, are you? His body trembled slightly, a flicker of terror in his eyes. Your life or death means nothing to anyone. But considering our father-son relationship, as your father, I won't really whip you to death. After all, murder is against the law. Lin Rant's words were like a cold verdict, his eyes devoid of any pity. Subsequently, Lin Ran once again transformed into a benevolent father and disciplined Lin Tianba, and he did it in front of all the employees of the Saran Group. His actions were powerful and decisive, each strike carrying his love for his son. He didn't care about the stares of those around him, nor did he care if someone was filming it to post online. In his view, having been reborn, if he couldn't live his life freely and satisfyingly, then he would have lived in vain. Internal conflict would only drive him crazy. He might as well drive others crazy instead. Ah, beast! You little beast! Lin Tianba's screams echoed in the air, his body trembling ceaselessly under Lin Rant's whipping. Lin Ran cursed as he whipped him. Still dare to curse me. Little beast, is it? I see you're just like a walnut. Can't get enough of being cracked. His hands didn't pause for a moment. After the exercise, Lin Ran rubbed his slightly sore arm and suddenly frowned. Wait a minute. How do you still have the mood to be here? He looked at Lin Tianba, his eyes full of confusion. Lin Tianba didn't understand what Lin Ran meant. He lay on the ground, a pathetic sight, his eyes filled with fear and confusion. Lin Ran, have you not discovered what kind of bitch Lu Yuma is? A flash of disgust crossed his eyes. Lin Tianba instantly became furious. I won't have you insulting your mother. He tried to get up from the ground to defend Lu Yuma. His eyes were filled with determination. In his heart, Lu Yuma was the woman he loved most, and he wouldn't allow anyone to slander her. Lin Ran rolled his eyes. He was now genuinely starting to doubt how Lin Tianba's low IQ had allowed him to live this long without dying. The fact that Lu Yuma was with Lin Tianba might really be all thanks to love. Very well, then let me show you something. Lin Ran took out his phone, pulled up an edited video, and handed it to Lin Tianba. Lin Tianba's eyes went wide as he watched the content on the phone. His gaze was filled with shock and disbelief, and his body began to tremble violently. Impossible. Yuma can't be this kind of woman. His voice was hoarse, as if he had used up all his strength. Looks like you still trust her quite a bit. You can go back and confront him now. I'll give you this chance. A mocking smile played on Lin Ran's lips. Lin Tianba stood up and was about to leave when Lin Ran stopped him. I'm not done whipping you yet. Who said you could leave? His eyes held a hint of authority, not allowing Lin Tianba to resist. Lin Tianba, didn't you just whip me for a long time? He looked at Lin Ran in terror, not knowing what else Lin Ran planned to do to him. Lin Ran had his men hold Lin Tianba down and expressionlessly continued to display his violent side. Even his battle-hardened bodyguards began to lower their heads. They watched Lin Ran's actions, somewhat surprised. How come it feels like young Master Lin has been changing more and more lately? If this keeps up, he might soon become a little demon feared by all. Only after he was done whipping him did Lin Ran let Lin Tianba go. At this point, Chu Tianyang asked Lin Ran, "Young Master Lin, what should we do about the content Lin Tianba spread online?" He looked at Lin Ran, a hint of worry in his eyes. "Lin Ran, don't do anything. Just issue a statement. Tell everyone that Saran Real Estate's houses have no problems. If they don't believe it, they don't have to buy. If they buy, they shouldn't regret it." His tone was flat, as if he didn't care about the matter at all. Chu Tianyang began to find Lin Ran's attitude inscrutable. Such a good opportunity to make money. Why does the young master seem so indifferent? His heart was filled with confusion, but he still replied, "I understand." In a residential house in the suburbs of Kyoto. It was a dilapidated house, the mottled marks on the walls seeming to narrate the vicissitudes of time. Lin Tianba, covered in injuries, walked back here. A belt like that isn't fatal, but it's incredibly painful. Each lash felt like it left a deep mark on his body. Lin Tianba wasn't young anymore, and for him, this counted as a serious injury. He dragged his exhausted and aching body, moving forward one difficult step at a time. The apartment he had been renting had been forcibly repossessed by the landlord. All his money had been seized by the bank, and he still hadn't paid off his debts. Lin Tianba was now truly at his wit's end. His world had seemingly collapsed overnight. His former glory and wealth had all left him, leaving only endless pain and despair. Being dirt poor, he had no money to go to the hospital. He could only endure the pain in his body and return to this humble dwelling. He had planned to lure Lin Ran out today and get some benefits. Who knew how he ended up getting beaten up by that rebellious son? He opened the door and saw Lin Jian lying on the bed, silent and with lifeless eyes. Lin Jian was not doing well either. He had been expelled from Kyoto University, which was once his pride, his capital for showing off to others. But now it was all gone. Of course, even if he hadn't been expelled, Lin Jian wouldn't dare go back. The scandal with Lu Rushue was known nationwide, and he had become a laughingstock. He was now nicknamed the nation's #1 orthopedics expert by netizens, a title that crushed him. Everywhere he went, people would point and stare. Those strange looks were like sharp knives stabbing at his heart. Lin Jian hated this feeling, so he could only lie at home, pretending not to know anything. "Little Jian, why don't you go out for a walk? Life has to go on. Our family is still together, and well, isn't that good?" Lin Tianba looked at his son's dejected state, his heart aching. He hoped Lin Jian could pull himself together. Lin Jian listlessly stood up, opened the door expressionlessly, and came back 10 seconds later to lie on the bed. Done walking, his voice was flat, devoid of any life, as if he had lost all hope in the world. Seeing his son's wasted state, Lin Tianba finally blew his top. Smack! He slapped Lin Jian hard across the face. "You rebellious son! Are you trying to anger me to death? You and Lu Rushue made your own mistakes. What are you doing playing the victim now?" His eyes burned with rage. He could no longer tolerate Lin Jian's attitude. Lin Jian looked at Lin Tianba in disbelief. This was the first time Lin Tianba had ever hit him. His eyes were filled with shock and grievance. He couldn't believe his father would lay a hand on him. "Dad, you hit me?" His voice trembled, tears welling up in his eyes. Lin Tianba also stared blankly at his own hand. He had actually hit his most beloved son and even cursed at him. His heart filled with remorse. "Little Jian, Dad." He wanted to apologize, but didn't know how to start. After all, he was the head of the family and had to maintain his authority. Lin Jian ran out, sobbing. He didn't want to be here anymore. His heart was filled with pain and anger. He felt he had been abandoned by the world. After running out, he called Lu Yueme. An unusual sound came from the other end of the line. The sound was noisy, as if Lu Yueme was in a very lively place. Lin Jian was no naive boy who had never seen the world. He naturally understood what was going on. "Mom? Where are you?" His voice was urgent. "Little Jian, what's wrong?" "I'm busy." Lu Yueme's voice was flustered. She seemed not to want Lin Jian to know where she was. Lin Jian silently hung up the phone, his eyes wide with disbelief. He couldn't believe this was real. His mother was fooling around outside, with multiple people. After an unknown amount of time, Lu Yueme finally found Lin Jian. "Little Jian, what did you call me for?" Lu Yueme looked at Lin Jian, a hint of confusion in her eyes. Looking at Liu Yuemei, who had found him, Lin Jian's heart was a mix of emotions. "Where were you just now?" His voice was low. "I went to get my hair done." Liu Yuemei answered somewhat unnaturally, not daring to look Lin Jian in the eye. Lin Jian closed his eyes, unable to calm himself for a long time. At a time like this, his mother had abandoned him and his father to go out and enjoy herself alone. His heart was filled with disappointment and pain. He felt his family had completely shattered. "Little Jian, what's wrong with you? Don't scare Mom." Liu Yuemei looked at Lin Jian nervously, sensing something was off with him. "Lin Jian, my dad hit me." His voice was choked with sobs, tears glistening in his eyes. "What? He dared to hit you? Come on. I'll take you to reason with him." A flash of anger crossed Liu Yuemei's eyes, and she prepared to drag Lin Jian to find Lin Tianba. Lin Jian stopped Liu Yuemei. "Mom, don't you have anything to say to me?" He looked at Liu Yuemei, his eyes filled with expectation, hoping his mother could give him a reasonable explanation. Liu Yuemei frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked at Lin Jian nervously, not knowing what he had found out. "Do you love Dad or not? And where were you just now?" Lin Jian's eyes were fixed on Liu Yuemei, not missing a single expression. Liu Yuemei took a deep breath and glanced around. "Little Jian, things have come to this, so there's something I must tell you. The truth is, you're not your father's son." Her voice trembled, as if saying this had taken all her strength. Lin Jian's eyes widened. "What did you say?" His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief, his body beginning to tremble violently. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. "You're not your father's son. Your dad doesn't know about this because I've been hiding it from everyone." Liu Yuemei looked at Lin Jian, her eyes flashing with complex emotions, guilt, helplessness. "What?" Lin Jian's eyes bulged like bells, full of terror and disbelief, as if he had heard the most absurd thing in the world. His body swayed back slightly as if struck in a vital spot by this sudden news, his face instantly turning deathly pale. "I said you're not your father's son. Your dad doesn't know about this because I've been hiding it from everyone. But now, you have to know this because Lin Tianba is very likely to become a deadbeat debtor, and his debts can't fall on you, nor on me." Liu Yuemei bit her lip and continued, "Son, I owe a lot of money, and I need to pay it back now. Mom can't give you a better life anymore. From now on, you can only rely on yourself." Tears welled up in Liu Yuemei's eyes, her face full of helplessness and sorrow. Lin Jian had been a young master for so many years, living a life of luxury, enjoying the praise and flattery of others. He originally held grand dreams, wanting to use his status to command the world and acquire more wealth and position. But now, Liu Yuemei was telling him he wasn't Lin Tianba's son. This was undoubtedly a bolt from the blue, something he simply couldn't accept. His world seemed to collapse in that instant. All his beliefs and hopes vanished in a flash. What was even harder for him to accept was that his own mother would do such a shameless thing for money. His image of his mother completely changed. The gentle, loving, and noble mother he knew was gone, replaced by a selfish, depraved woman. Despicable, he cursed silently in his heart, his eyes filled with disgust. "Ha! I see." A laugh erupted from the depths of Lin Jian's body and soul. The laugh was filled with bitterness, self-mockery, and despair, echoing in the space, as if it were a protest against this cruel world. "Son, you can't tell your father about this yet," Liu Yuemei said nervously to Lin Jian. "Why can't I tell him? Isn't now the best time? Since he's not my father, I have no obligation to suffer with him here." Lin Jian roared angrily, his eyes burning with rage, feeling immense resentment for everything around him. Liu Yuemei sighed. "Because I don't know yet if your father will succeed in getting Lin Ran to give him money. If Lin Ran can give Lin Tianba money, then this matter can be kept from Lin Tianba for the rest of his life." A calculating glint flashed in her eyes. In her view, Lin Ran was their last straw. As long as they could get money from Lin Ran, all their problems would be solved. Lin Jian was momentarily stunned. Looking at his mother, he realized that for so many years, he had never truly understood her. His mother had always been an enigma to him, and now, the solution to this mystery filled him with immense fear and a sense of unfamiliarity. "I understand," he said coldly, a chill filling his heart. With Lin Jian's compromise, he followed Liu Yuemei back to the rented house. He didn't say a word the entire way, just walked silently. In his heart, he had already lost all respect for his mother. Of course, he despised Lin Tianba even more. In his eyes, they were both losers, the most pitiful and pathetic people in the world. When Liu Yuemei returned to the rented house with Lin Jian, Lin Tianba was already dead drunk. He sat on the floor, surrounded by a pile of empty wine bottles, his eyes glazed over, muttering to himself. Lu Yuemei stood directly in front of him and demanded, "Why did you hit my son?" Lin Tianba looked at Lu Yuemei, stood up, and slapped her across the face. "I'll hit you too." His eyes were filled with anger and resentment. "You dare hit me?" Lu Yuemei covered her face, her eyes filled with shock and grievance. "Why can't I hit you? You whore who's been ridden by 1,000 men." With that, Lin Tianba slapped her again. His words were like sharp knives, stabbing viciously into Lu Yuemei's heart. "Are you crazy?" Her voice trembled, her eyes flashing with fear and anger. She had never imagined that Lin Tianba would be so violent towards her. "Lin Tianba, haha, I'm crazy. I went crazy falling in love with a bitch like you." His laughter echoed through the rented house, a near-maniacal laugh filled with pain and despair. Just as Lu Yuemei was about to fight back, Lin Tianba shoved the video Lin ran had sent him right in her face, hitting her with it point blank. The images in the video were obscene. Every frame was like a bomb exploding in Lu Yuemei's heart. Lu Yuemei stared at the video in disbelief. The female lead was clearly herself, but the male lead kept changing. Her face turned deathly pale, and her body began to tremble violently. "Husband, let me BS you." "No, let me explain." She tried to defend herself, her eyes filled with panic. Lin Tianba had no intention of listening. He believed that no matter the reason, it didn't justify betraying their relationship. "Explain my ass," he roared, his eyes filled with disgust. Lin Jian shivered in the corner, not daring to intervene. He was terrified by the scene before him. The current Lin Tianba was like an out-of-control bomb, very violent and dangerous. He didn't know what to do, but could only tremble in the corner. After Lin Tianba was done hitting her, Lu Yuemei clutched her bleeding lip and spoke. "Lin Tianba, after all I've done for you, you dare to doubt me." Lin Tianba froze. "How can you even say something like that? What have you done for me?" Lu Yuemei instantly burst into tears. "Do you know why I did this? Because I borrowed 50 million from Brother Dao to raise money for you. But unfortunately, the Lu family scammed all the money away, leaving me penniless. I could only use this method to pay back the debt." Her voice was choked, her eyes filled with grievance and helplessness. "And you, this man, still hit me. Doesn't your conscience hurt?" Lu Yuemei cried, her acting skills first-rate, as if she were truly a victim. Lin Tianba was stunned. Lin Jian's eyes went wide. He felt his mother was simply incredible to be able to come up with such a reason. Who would have thought that Lin Tianba would actually walk dazedly over to Lu Yuemei and help her up? "Yuemei, I'm so sorry, boo-hoo." Tears welled up in his eyes, too. His love for Lu Yuemei had overcome his anger, and he chose to believe her words. After a long while, the three members of the Lin family were hugging and crying together again, vowing that they were a loving family. The scene was so touching that even the king of hell would have to shed a tear before leaving. A loving family. "Yuemei, I've wronged you. Don't worry. I will make Lin Ran give us the money to save you. He must give us this money." Lin Tianba held Lu Yuemei tightly, a resolute glint in his eyes. In his heart, Lin Ran was his last hope. He had to get money from Lin Ran to save this collapsing family. Lu Yuemei cried uncontrollably, while inwardly she breathed a sigh of relief. Her plan had succeeded. Lin Tianba was back under her control. At the same time, she secretly vowed to make Lin Ran pay. After Lin Ran provided the money to solve the Lin family's crisis, she would make sure Lin Ran died a horrible death. The seed of this hatred, at this moment, had fully sprouted and begun to grow. Beneath her seemingly weak exterior hid an incredibly venomous heart. "Lin Jian, Dad, Mom, from today on, I will definitely save money for the family. I'll only eat 1 meal a day." He pretended to be sensible, a sly look in his eyes. He knew that for now, he had to play along with his parents to achieve their goal. Lin Tianba hugged his son and cried, "My poor son, it's Dad who has harmed you." His eyes were filled with guilt. It was all because of that rebellious son, Lin Ran, that the Lin family had to suffer like this. "Dad won't allow you to say that. Lin Ran isn't even fit to be compared to your little finger." He hugged Lin Jian tightly, flames of anger burning in his eyes. "Dad, it's not your fault. It's because Brother is unwilling to help us. If my leaving would make Brother come back to you, then I would leave without hesitation," Lin Jian said in a feigned obedient and aggrieved manner. His words were like knives stabbing at Lin Tianba's heart, deepening his resentment towards Lin Ran. P.S. Some people say this book doesn't deserve a 9.3 rating. Actually, The rating has nothing to do with readers giving 5 stars. The author can't control it either. The rating is calculated by the system based on the reader's retention rate, follow-up reading rate, and completion rate. A 9.3 proves the retention rate is over 20%. It's not affected by everyone's scoring, which is also why some novels with all 5-star reviews still have low ratings. I don't know if these words will get me deleted. Thank you all for your continuous support. Love you guys. After returning to the manor, Lin Ran still didn't see Xiao He. The last time he parted with the little Luo Yao, Lin Ran didn't have time to say much. There were many things he wanted to tell her that he hadn't, and he couldn't let it go. The image of the little Luo Yao, both cute and strong, constantly appeared in his mind. He hoped Luo Yao could see the beauty and hope in life. He wanted to add a beam of light to her difficult childhood. But now, he couldn't even find Xiao He. This sense of powerlessness made him even more agitated. His phone rang again. Lin Ran looked and saw it was Luo Yao. He quickly answered. Ran, I'm on a sudden business trip. It might be for a day, maybe 2. Luo Yao's voice came through the phone, tinged with apology. Lin Ran was taken aback. This was the second time Luo Yao had gone on a business trip since his rebirth. He felt a little disappointed. He had just spent some wonderful time with Luo Yao, and now they had to be apart again. Is it something so important that it can't wait? I don't want to be away from you. On the other end of the line, a beautiful curve formed on Luo Yao's lips. She felt her resilient heart was truly changing bit by bit. She wanted to stay with Lin Ran, but reality wouldn't allow it. Ran, there's something important at the company below. I have to go. I'm sorry. Her tone was filled with helplessness. Lin Ran's heart stirred. He didn't like how Luo Yao was always so cautious. You don't have to say sorry. I'll miss you, he said gently. I'll miss you too, Luo Yao responded. After hanging up, Luo Yao's eyes gradually shifted from gentle to cold. A chilling light flashed in her gaze, as if she had reverted to the ruthless and unfeeling female CEO of the business world. Oh, could it be? Luo Yao took Lu Meng, just the two of them, in a car leaving the city. Time rewound to that morning at the Luo family's old residence. With the cry of an eagle, a shadow appeared before old Master Luo. The shadow appeared silently, like a phantom, sending a chill down one's spine. Of course, old Master Luo couldn't see, but he still spoke. Ooh. His mouth formed unintelligible sounds as he tried to ask who had come. I didn't expect that even though your eyes can't see, your ears have become sharper, came the voice of a rather old woman. The voice was like a cold wind, blowing into old Master Luo's heart and making him shiver. Old Master Luo was in a miserable state now, unable to see, unable to speak, and confined to his bed. His body was extremely weak, like a candle in the wind, ready to be extinguished at any moment. In fact, he had recognized the scent of the person who had come. It was a familiar yet strange smell that filled him with dread. Brother, look how much pain you're in. Why don't I send you on your way? The old woman's voice was tinged with mockery and cruelty. She looked at old Master Luo's state without a shred of pity. A chill ran through old Master Luo. He sensed a killing intent similar to the kind Luo Yao exuded. He knew his life was about to end, but he was powerless to do anything. You can't even protect your own daughter. What's the point of you being alive? I put countless efforts into training Wu Yu, and she ended up just like that. Huh. The old woman lit a stick of incense and left silently, as if she had never been there. The incense gave off a strange fragrance that filled the air, like a dirge for old Master Luo's death. By the time Luo Yao arrived at the old residence, old Master Luo had been dead for a long time. Luo Yao narrowed her eyes. She hadn't expected old Master Luo to die, and not at her hands. But if he was dead, he was dead. It didn't matter. Luo Yao can lose her father, mother, and grandfather, but she cannot lose her husband. Her subordinates reported that old Master Luo hadn't come out all day, which they initially thought nothing of, as he often stayed in his room. But when the room was still closed by the afternoon, a servant finally couldn't wait any longer. At the very least, he needed to eat. But when they opened the door, they found old Master Luo lying in bed, no longer breathing. The matter was immediately reported to Luo Yao. Luo Yao chose to return to the old residence at once to investigate the cause of his death. A complex emotion flashed in her eyes. She knew this matter was far from simple. Suddenly, Luo Yao's nose twitched as she sniffed a faint trace of fragrance lingering in the air. The scent was very light, almost imperceptible, yet it carried a strange quality. She instantly realized there was a problem, her brows furrowing slightly as a sense of foreboding washed over her. Just then, a bodyguard reported something odd. "Miss, there was a bird's cry in the courtyard this morning." "So she's back. Interesting." A cold smile touched Luo Yao's lips. She knew it wasn't a bird's cry at all, but an eagle's. And the owner of this eagle must be somewhere nearby, like a ghost hidden in the shadows, watching everything. Luo Yao decided to stay at the old residence. That night, the old house was exceptionally quiet, eerily so. Luo Yao lay in bed, remaining vigilant at all times. The night passed without incident, until the next morning, when an eagle's cry shattered the peace. The cry echoed through the air like a provocation. Without a second thought, she followed the sound and slipped into the mountain behind the old residence. Luo Yao's figure moved like a ghost through the forest, her steps light, making not a single sound. She followed the eagle's cry deeper into the woods. The trees grew denser, and thorns tore her clothes, but she paid them no mind. She walked for nearly half an hour, a light sweat on her forehead, but her gaze remained firm. The Luo family's old residence was built against a mountain. Everyone assumed this was according to feng shui principles, backed by a mountain, supported by a mountain. The lush trees on the mountain seemed like a natural barrier erected for the Luo family. But only the direct descendants of the Luo family knew that the mountain held the family's greatest secret, the so-called treasure of the Luo family. This treasure was shrouded in mystery in the Luo family legends, like a giant puzzle. No one knew what it was. No one had even found its location. It was like a mysterious corner forgotten by time, waiting for a destined person to unveil its secrets. As Luo Yao walked through the mountain, she suddenly looked up. The eagle was circling in the sky, its huge wings casting a shadow on the ground below. "Since you're here, why don't you show yourself?" Luo Yao shouted, her voice echoing through the valley. Suddenly, as if it had a mind of its own, the eagle dove down. Its speed was incredible, like a black bolt of lightning. Luo Yao narrowed her eyes, and her hand went to her waist, where her weapon was hidden. Her gaze turned icy, ready to deliver a fatal blow to the beast at any moment. Her body tensed slightly, like a cheetah poised to strike. To her surprise, the eagle dove headfirst into a mountain stream. Luo Yao narrowed her eyes. Seeing the eagle circling above, she seemed to realize something. She looked down at the pool of stagnant water below. The water was pitch black, exuding a mysterious aura. Without a moment's hesitation, she jumped in. As she dove deeper, the icy water enveloped her body, a bone-chilling cold. Luo Yao saw a deep pool, but the buoyancy of the water was too strong. Like a helpless leaf, she was pushed upwards, forced back to the shore. Her first dive was unsuccessful. She stood on the bank, somewhat unwilling to give up, panting heavily. Looking around, a rock caught her attention. The rock was large and looked heavy, but Luo Yao showed no fear. She picked up the rock and jumped in again. This time, the weight of the rock carried her down quickly. 10 minutes later, Luo Yao passed through the deep pool and arrived in a place she had never been before. The walls here were all made of crystal, which shimmered with a rainbow of colors under the refracted light, like a dream. The sun's rays shone through a crack in a mountain above, casting golden beams onto the ground, as if laying a golden carpet for this mysterious place. If one didn't look closely, no one could have discovered such a space beneath the land. It was already November. Having just come out of the water, even she felt the cold. "You finally found this place." A voice suddenly broke the silence. The sound echoed in the space, carrying a hint of time-worn mystery. Hearing this voice, Luo Yao froze. She looked up and met a pair of deep eyes. The eyes were like a bottomless lake, hiding countless secrets. "How did you find this place?" Luo Yao asked. Before her was an old woman of about 60. Her eyes were deep, revealing a world-weariness that spoke of a life well lived. She wore old-fashioned clothes, the style of which looked like it had been passed down from ancient times, with exquisite patterns but also a sense of age. This person was Luo Yao's instructor and mentor, named Luo Tongji, the only living guardian of the Luo family. However, due to her age, she had been abandoned by the family and could only teach in the primeval forest. She was like a person forgotten by time, guarding ancient traditions and secrets alone. "I discovered it by chance. Do you want this thing?" Luo Tongji produced a key-like object made of stone. The key looked ordinary, but in this mysterious environment, it seemed exceptionally important. "A pity my good brother only had this one." A flash of regret and unwillingness crossed her eyes. "Luo Yao, you came back just for the treasure?" Her eyes were full of vigilance. She looked at the key in Luo Tongji's hand, guessing at her purpose. L_Dongji. I'm just really curious. What is this thing that our Luo family has guarded for generations but never seen? Her eyes shone with a curious light. The desire for the unknown made her gaze burn with intensity. Luo Yao looked around, her eyes gradually drawn to a stone wall. The wall looked ordinary, but it exuded a mysterious power that attracted her. You discovered it too? This is our Luo family's dragon vein. It just can't be opened. Luo Yao, you can be considered my granddaughter, and even more so, my direct disciple. I want you to help me get the key from your second uncle. How about we go in and see it together? Luo Tongji's eyes held a hint of expectation. She looked at Luo Yao as if waiting for her answer. Luo Yao remained silent, her eyes fixed on the woman before her. She was weighing the pros and cons in her mind. She knew this woman was not simple and could not be easily trusted. Do you think I'll agree with you? Since childhood, Luo Yao had never trusted the woman before her. Or rather, she had never trusted anyone other than Lin Ran. In her childhood and upbringing, filled with hardship, trust was a luxury. Only Lin Ran had made her lower her guard. Of course you will agree with me, Luo Tongji said confidently, seeming to have full faith in her plan. And if I don't agree? Luo Yao's tone turned icy, her hands clenching into fists. Aren't you curious why I lured you to the old residence? A sly look flashed in Luo Tongji's eyes. She was like a cunning old hunter who had set an elaborate trap. Luo Yao's eyes began to flicker. A thought that sent a chill down her spine occurred to her. What did you do to our Ran? Luo Tongji's lips curved into a smile, much like Luo Yao's. I'm not a fool like your second uncle. I wouldn't make a move without absolute certainty. Her smile held a hint of triumph. It's truly difficult for outsiders to get into your manor. Those bodyguards are quite skilled, and their firepower is strong. But let me ask you, if it were those cons who came from inside, would it be possible for them to just waltz right in? As expected, Luo family women are all so sentimental. Back then, the man Luo Weo loved was the one I forced her to kill with her own hands. What? Do you want to follow in your aunt's footsteps? Luo Tongji's eyes were filled with provocation. She seemed to have everything under control. Luo Yao's eyes narrowed. If you dare do anything to our Ran, I promise you won't see tomorrow's sun. Flames of rage burned in her eyes, flames that seemed capable of incinerating everything. She was already prepared to become an enemy of the world for Lin Ran's sake. A trace of loneliness flashed in Luo Tongji's eyes. Luo Yao, your second uncle was right about one thing. You truly have no sense of family. She seemed disappointed by Luo Yao's reaction, yet she also understood it. In her eyes, Luo Yao's coldness was a result of her own training. But why is it that you, who have no sense of family, have found love? Does that Lin Ran really have some kind of magic? Luo Yao snorted coldly, her voice devoid of any emotion. Thanks to you, this is what you personally taught me. Luo Tongji was finally certain that Lin Ran truly held the top spot in Luo Yao's heart. I never thought you'd blow me off and daydream about finding love. Since you're unwilling to cooperate, then I can only apologize. Today, let me personally clean up this rebellious disciple of mine. Luo Tongji acted as soon as she spoke, without a moment's hesitation. Her figure flashed, and the weapon in her hand struck towards Luo Yao. The move was clean and decisive, without any sluggishness. Luo Yao didn't hesitate either, charging forward to meet her. The two instantly clashed, every move a fatal one, with no regard for their past master-disciple relationship. The two identical daggers in their hands had no fancy flourishes, only ruthless coldness. The daggers glinted under the light, each swing carrying a sharp momentum. They collided with a crisp clang, the sound echoing in the space like a symphony of death. Suddenly, Luo Tongji revealed an opening. Luo Yao attacked, her speed so fast it made even Luo Tongji break out in a cold sweat. A flicker of panic crossed her eyes. She hadn't expected Luo Yao to react so quickly. But just as Luo Yao was about to succeed, an eagle's cry was heard. The eagle dove through the crack in the ceiling, heading straight for Luo Yao without hesitation. The eagle's eyes were fierce, its talons incredibly sharp, like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. A smirk appeared on Luo Tongji's lips. I forgot to teach you that a one-on-one fight always has uncertainties, and you are missing a helper. Her voice was somewhat smug. She used the eagle's attack to create an opportunity for herself. Luo Tongji pushed her dagger forward, allowing Luo Yao's dagger to plunge into her own abdomen. But at the same time, she entangled Luo Yao. She knew Luo Yao was not an easy opponent. So she chose this self-damaging tactic. A pained expression appeared on her face, but her eyes remained firm. Luo Yao blocked Luo Tongji's dagger with one hand and released her own dagger from Luo Tongji's abdomen with the other, simultaneously reaching for her waist. She tried to find a chance to escape her predicament, but it was too late. The eagle grew larger and larger in Luo Yao's pupils. Rip! The eagle's talons dug into Luo Yao's flesh. Luo Yao let out a muffled grunt as blood instantly stained her clothes. Just as she was about to do something, Luo Tongji's dagger stabbed towards her. The dagger was aimed at Luo Yao's vitals, moving with incredible speed. Luo Yao, die in peace. In the future, the Luo family will no longer have you as its head. Luo Tongji's voice rang in Luo Yao's ear like the whisper of a demon. Luo Yao felt no fear, only regret. The image of Lin Ran's smile flashed in her mind, the beautiful moments they spent together playing out like a movie before her eyes. I haven't even gotten to enjoy retirement with our Ran yet, she thought to herself. A single tear rolled down her cheek, a tear for her reluctance to leave Lin Ran. Aran, I'm sorry. I broke my promise, she said in her heart, her eyes filled with longing. Suddenly, meow. At the critical moment, a cat's meow shattered everything. The meow was crisp and loud, sounding particularly abrupt in the tense atmosphere. A black shadow shot like a cannonball onto Luo Tongji's head. Luo Tongji was greatly alarmed. She hadn't expected Luo Yao to have a helper too. The black shadow was like a phantom in the night, carrying a mysterious aura that filled Luo Tongji's heart with unease. Moreover, this black shadow was clearly coming for her. The black shadow was like a bolt of black lightning, pouncing towards Luo Tongji at an astonishing speed. Its movements were agile and sharp, knocking Luo Tongji's attack off course and causing the dagger that was aimed at Luo Yao to miss. The black shadow flashed rapidly before Luo Tongji's eyes, incidentally blocking her vision. Panic rose in Luo Tongji's heart. By the time she reacted, she felt a cold sensation on her neck. A sharp dagger was already resting there. The cold glint of the dagger reflected Luo Tongji's terrified eyes. She knew she was in a desperate situation. Simultaneously, with a bang, Luo Yao's other hand pulled the trigger without hesitation. It was a weapon she had kept hidden, originally prepared for the most dangerous situations. At this moment, the flame erupting from the muzzle illuminated the dim space. The bullets, like avenging messengers, precisely sent that damned eagle to its salvation. The eagle struggled in the air for a few moments before falling like a stone, hitting the ground and kicking up a cloud of dust. She had originally intended to save this salvation device for Luo Tongji, but the eagle had ruined her plan at the critical moment. But it didn't matter now. Luo Tongji was already his defeated opponent. She could no longer pose a threat. Luo Tongji, from this moment on, there is no place for you in the Luo family. Luo Yao's voice was cold and majestic, like a judge pronouncing a death sentence. There was not a shred of pity in her eyes, only the ruthlessness reserved for an enemy. Luo Yao, you actually used a barbecue? You have no honor. Your victory is a sham. Luo Tongji roared, unwilling to accept defeat. In her eyes, Luo Yao's use of such an unexpected tactic violated the principles of a fair fight. Luo Yao sneered, the greatest weakness of people like you is your conservatism. She looked at Luo Tongji mockingly, the dagger in her hand spinning gently, glinting coldly in the sunlight. In this ever-changing world, Luo Tongji's adherence to traditional combat methods and concepts had sealed her fate. With a swing of the dagger, Luo Tongji met the same fate as Langya. Her body slowly collapsed, the light in her eyes gradually fading as if the flame of life had been extinguished at that moment. Watching her own master fall to the ground, Luo Yao bent down to pick up the key on the floor. At the same time, she tore open the clothes on Luo Tongji's body, grabbed her head, and lifted it. The scene was bloody and terrifying, but there was no fear on Luo Yao's face. She stared at the empty field, lost in thought, a myriad of ideas racing through her mind. That black shadow, just now, was it the one I killed when I was a child? She wondered silently, a trace of doubt flashing in her eyes. But she had no time to dwell on it. She had to leave as soon as possible. She pushed the thought aside, not wanting to linger, and left the place filled with blood and secrets. Back at the old mansion, Luo Yao quickly changed her clothes. Every movement pulled at her wounds, making her frown, but she endured the pain racking her body and headed for the manor. At the same time, she took out her phone to call Lin Ran. She desperately wanted to hear his voice, to know if he was safe. But the response was that the number she dialed was out of service. Her heart sank, and a sense of foreboding washed over her. She opened her phone to look, and her eyes instantly widened. Lynn Rand's location had vanished. Her hand trembled slightly, her heart filled with worry and fear. She didn't know what had happened to Lynn Rand, and was even a little afraid to call the manor to ask. But in the end, she dialed the manor's number. 10 hours earlier, at the Dantion Manor, Lynn Rand was sitting in the living room. Meow. Suddenly, he heard a long-awaited meow. The sound was crisp and familiar, particularly abrupt in the silence of the manor. What's meant to come has finally come. A gratified smile appeared on Lynn Rand's face. He stood up and looked in the direction of the sound. Little Black had arrived. If you hadn't come soon, I would have reported you missing and put up a reward, Lynn Rand joked. Little Black, you think you're funny? Little Black's disdainful thoughts entered Lynn Rand's mind as it walked in with an elegant cat-like gait. Its black fur shone like black satin under the lights. Its eyes were filled with arrogance, looking at Lynn Rand as if he were a naive child. Lynn Rand, all right, you're as sharp-tongued as ever. Why are you so late? Little Black glanced at Lynn Rand with disdain, and Lynn Rand instantly felt like he was being scolded again. The look seemed to say, "Humph, since when do I need your permission to decide when I arrive? Actually, I've already thought of my wish. And you've picked a good time. Luo Yao won't be back today," Lynn Rand said with a smile, knowing this was a rare opportunity. Little Black, is it possible that I came to find you precisely because I knew Luo Yao wasn't here? Little Black's thoughts came again as it leaped onto the sofa, sat down elegantly, and swayed its tail gently. Lynn Rand nodded. I try to be polite, and you get all high and mighty? Don't think I don't know how you usually curse me. Little Black, are you going to make your fucking wish or not? Huh, yeah, I've had it figured out for a while. Stop dawdling, spit it out. Where are we going this time? Little Black said impatiently, looking at Lynn Rand with a hint of urgency. Lynn Rand slowly raised a finger. First, you have to compensate me with a wish. I'll state the compensation wish first. The corners of his mouth turned up slightly, revealing a mysterious look. Little Black? It looked at Lynn Rand with a bewildered expression. No way. You didn't forget, did you? Last time you said you'd owe me an extra wish. You're not trying to go back on your word, are you? Little Black, who said I was going back on my word? Go ahead. It didn't want Lynn Rand to call a cat that didn't keep its promises. Only then did Lynn Rand show a triumphant expression. He pulled out a collar from behind him and dangled it in front of the black cat. Meow. Little Black's pupils changed instantly, followed by its defiant thoughts. What the fuck? You've really been corrupted by your company. Have you turned into Luo Yao? I'm not your personal property. Wearing this thing is impossible. As a cat with dignity, I'd rather die than be humiliated. Little Black's eyes were filled with anger and dissatisfaction. Its body arched slightly, like a small lion ready to fight. Lynn Rand, I'm doing this for your own good. It's too much trouble finding you every time, so I prepared this for you. You don't want to go back on your word, do you? He tried to persuade Little Black, a hint of expectation in his eyes. Little Black had a look of utter despair, an expression one would hardly imagine on a cat's face, like the Lin Dayu of the feline world, the Tomokazu Haramoto of table tennis. I'd rather die than wear it. Change your wish. It firmly rejected Lynn Rand, unwilling to lose its freedom. Fine, I'll change it. Lynn Rand shrugged helplessly. Little Black let out a long sigh of relief, marveling that Lynn Rand was finally acting human. It sat down again, a hint of vigilance still in its eyes. Lynn Rand's serious voice came out. I need a death exemption token. His eyes were filled with solemnity, the earlier teasing gone. Little Black, what the hell? Why don't you just ask to ascend to heaven? Little Black looked at Lynn Rand in shock, not expecting him to make such a request. Lynn Rand, don't be hasty, listen to me. Can't you turn back time? Little Black, that's right. Such a small matter is indeed this cat's specialty. Little Black raised its head proudly, quite confident in its abilities. Lynn Rand nodded. Then that's it. This death exemption token isn't for me, it's for Luo Yao. His expression softened, his heart filled with love whenever he mentioned Luo Yao. Little Black, what do you mean? Lynn Rand looked at Little Black seriously. If one day in the future, Luo Yao is in danger, or if she has an accident, and dies. When he said the word dies, Lynn Rand felt a sharp pain in his heart. Even just imagining Luo Yao without breath was unbearable for him. The image of Luo Yao lying breathless in the ice crystal coffin in his past life was forever etched in his mind. It was a pain he could never forget, and he didn't want to experience such agony again. If she dies, you have to save her life. For a great creator like you, that shouldn't be too difficult, right? His eyes were filled with pleading, hoping Little Black would agree. Little Black fell silent for a moment. I can't promise you that right away. The last major time, reversal consumed too much of my power. But I can assure you, if that day comes, and if this cat has that power again, I will. A trace of hesitation flashed in Little Black's eyes, but seeing Lin Rand's pained expression, it relented. Lin Rand showed a knowing and grateful smile. That's enough. Thank you. His smile was as warm as sunshine, a gratitude that came from the bottom of his heart. Little Black lay on the carpet, its incredulous thoughts transmitted. A miracle. You actually know how to say thank you? It looked at Lin Rand with some surprise. In its impression, Lin Rand rarely expressed thanks so formally. Lin Rand's face darkened. He was a civilized person, all right. He looked at Little Black helplessly, not knowing whether to laugh or cry at its teasing. Before Lin Rand could say anything, Little Black's voice came again. However, a verbal thank you is useless. This cat needs some little yellow croakers now. Little Black licked its paws, its eyes gleaming with a desire for delicious food. Lin Rand immediately said, Easy, easy. I've had them ready for a long time, and I change them out for fresh ones every day, just waiting for you to come. The fish gave off an enticing aroma, their golden brown skin looking very appealing. Now that's more like it. Meow, awem nom nom, chew chew chew. Seeing the little yellow croakers, Little Black immediately pounced on them and began to feast. It ate with great relish, completely immersed in the world of food. After Little Black had its fill, a weight was lifted from Lin Rand's heart. He knew that since Little Black was willing to eat his food, it meant it took the promise seriously. This gave him an immense sense of security. At least Luo Yao had one more layer of protection. Little Black, all right, tell me your wish for this time. Where do you want to go now? Lin Rand had long since decided on this wish, so he didn't need to think about it. I want to see Luo Yao at her loneliest and most desperate moment. He wanted to understand Luo Yao's past, to know what kind of pain she had once endured. Little Black, you're making things a bit difficult for this cat. I can't see in her heart, so how would I know when she's at her loneliest? But I can try. Let me search. The approximate time. Found it. It should be around this time period. Get ready, we're going now. Little Black closed its eyes and began to use its power. Wait, Lin Rand stopped Little Black. He suddenly remembered something and turned to run toward the cloakroom. Little Black, what else do you want to do? Dilly-dallying like a woman. Little Black complained impatiently. After a while, Lin Rand came out carrying a simple backpack. I've packed some things in here that I want to take with me. Little Black, stop dawdling, let's hurry up. A flash of light appeared before his eyes, and a familiar sensation swept over Lin Rand's entire body. He knew he was about to travel through time. Time flowed backward at super speed. Lin Rand felt as if he had passed through a tunnel in an instant. The tunnel was filled with countless cubes flashing with multicolored lights, like stars in the universe. At one of the cubes, Little Black threw him out. Opening his eyes, he was greeted by the sight of a somewhat familiar primeval forest. Every plant and tree here seemed to carry a mysterious aura. The dim yellow sunlight filtered through the dense foliage, creating patches of light like freckles on the earth. But this place had changed from before. The last time he came, it was late autumn, and the ground was covered with withered yellow leaves, like a golden blanket spread over the earth. The autumn wind was bleak, with a hint of chill, but now it seemed to be summer. The surroundings were lush and green, with heat steaming in the air, as if the entire forest was in a steamer. Lin Rand was wearing too many clothes and instantly started to sweat. Fine beads of sweat seeped from his forehead and slid down his cheeks. The shirt on his back was also soaked with sweat, sticking to his body and making him feel very uncomfortable. He took off his jacket first, then thought for a moment and wrapped the jacket around himself before putting the backpack on again. Little Black, Lin Rand called out softly, Little Black, I'm here. What are you shouting for? Little Black's impatient voice sounded in Lin Rand's mind. Lin Rand looked down, but didn't see Little Black. He looked around again, but still nothing. There were only trees, grass, and the occasional unknown insect flying by. There was no sign of Little Black. Where are you? Lin Rand asked a little anxiously. Little Black, in your backpack? I'm afraid of danger, so it feels safer in here. Little Black's voice sounded a bit smug, as if hiding in the backpack was an incredibly wise choice. Who gets it, people? A cat called Creator is a cowardly piece of trash. Lin Rand couldn't help but complain. He found Little Black's behavior truly amusing. Who gets it, people? A transmigrator who owes me his life isn't thinking about being grateful and is mocking this cat instead. Little Black retorted without showing any weakness, its thoughts full of dissatisfaction. Lin Rand's face gradually darkened. He hadn't expected a cat's words to be sharper than his own, and since Little Black had appeared, it seemed to have cursed and mocked him many times. All right, Lord Creator, I'll admit I'm afraid of you. Now please tell me where Luo Yao is, Lin Rand said helplessly. Little Black, are you an idiot? How could I possibly know where she is? Little Black's reply left Lin Rand speechless. By the way, I think I saw a message from your farm. Little Black? You died. Little Black was stunned for a moment before its thoughts came through. You got a message from your farm, too. Lin Rand, I know, I'm awesome. Little Black. Lin Rand tried to recall his previous route through the primeval forest, searching his mind for every detail. The path here was not easy to walk, overgrown with thorns, and he was occasionally tripped by vines. He finally found the cave. It was daytime now, and sunlight shone around the cave, making it not very hidden. The outline of the entrance was clearly visible. Lin Rand was overjoyed, thinking that Luo Yao might be inside, so he walked straight in. A quick glance inside revealed that there was no one. The cave was somewhat dim, with only the light from the entrance barely illuminating a portion of it. Lin Rand started to get anxious. Am I not going to see little Luo Yao this time? Little Black, these things depend on fate. If you don't see her, you don't see her. Let's go back. Little Black said nonchalantly, not wanting to waste time here. Lin Rand left the cave, not noticing that two pairs of eyes were silently watching him. They were two pairs of eyes filled with vigilance and curiosity, like phantoms in the dark, hidden behind the surrounding grass and trees. When Lin Rand reached a certain spot, his foot suddenly tightened, and he was instantly hoisted into the air. Oh, what the fuck? Lin Rand screamed. The sudden event threw him into a panic. He was hanging upside down, blood rushing to his head, feeling a wave of dizziness. Little Black was tossed around in the backpack, its eyes darting about. It, too, was flustered by the sudden situation. Little Black, how come every time I go out with you, we run into danger? Are you a jinx? Lin Rand, I don't want this either, Lin Rand replied helplessly. His current situation was extremely awkward, hanging upside down, not knowing what he would face next. He had thought it might be a trap set by Luo Yao, and even felt a sliver of anticipation. Who would have thought that two twin brothers, about 10 years old and looking very similar, would walk out from the shadows? They wore tattered clothes and had dirty faces, but their eyes were sharp, like two little wolves. Who are you, and why are you here? One of the boys asked. His voice was a bit childish, but his tone was very serious. I'm a villager from nearby. I just got lost. Seeing that neither of them was Luo Yao, Lin Rand didn't dare say much, afraid of causing trouble for her. He tried to keep his voice calm, but in his mind, he was plotting how to get out of this predicament. The other boy said, Nonsense, there can't be anyone living nearby. He frowned, his eyes full of suspicion, as if he had already seen through Lin Rand's lie. Lin Rand, then do you two count as people? If you don't, then I don't either. If you do, then I'm sorry, I'm just lost. He tried to confuse the two little boys with this tongue-twister-like statement. The two brothers were clearly a bit stunned, carefully pondering the meaning of Lin Rand's words. It was as if two little people were fighting in their small heads, leaving them momentarily at a loss. Hey, can you let me down before we talk? Lin Rand felt his head swelling more and more. He just wanted to get out of this upside-down position quickly. The boy said, No stranger who comes here gets out alive. His eyes turned fierce, as if he had already passed judgment on Lin Rand. Lin Rand, holy shit, how can you say something so cold with a body temperature of 37 degrees? He was shocked, not expecting these two little boys to be so ruthless. At this moment, the other boy spoke up. Stop wasting your breath on him. Let's kill him first. This person might be a spy sent by the other side. A grown man like him should be enough for us to eat for a few days. His words made Lin Rand's hair stand on end. His calm tone delivered such cruel words, like a demon. Eat for a few days? Lin Rand was startled. This child seemed naive, but the words coming out of his mouth were even more horrifying than the others. This world always had some unexpected surprises waiting for him, but this surprise was just too terrifying. Hey, you two young sirs, I'm a scholar. My meat is sour. If you want to eat something good, I have some in my backpack. Lin Rand tried to use this method to divert their attention. He did not want to become a meal for these two little demons. The two little boys noticed that Lin Rand was carrying a backpack and walked over. Their eyes showed curiosity, wondering what delicious things might be inside. Little Black. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Lin ran. I have to. I have to think of something. Little Black. Then think faster. They're coming over. Little Black was getting anxious. It didn't want to be discovered by these two little boys. Lin ran. The only plan I can think of is for you to think of a plan. Lin ran threw the problem back to Little Black. Little Black. You motherfucker. You're a total cat magnet. Forget it. Let's go back. Little Black was so angry it started swearing. It was ready to give up on this mission and leave this dangerous place. Lin Ran immediately became anxious. No. The two little boys looked at Lin Ran in confusion. What no? They didn't understand why Lin Ran was suddenly so agitated. Lin Ran's eyes darted around, and he quickly explained, I'll tell you a secret. Actually, I am Ultraman. He tried to use this identity to intimidate the two little boys. Little Black. You're hopeless. You can come up with any bullshit reason. Little Black scoffed at Lin Ran's idea. Who would have thought that the two little boys would look at each other and then both show angry faces? We hate things from the little Japs the most. Their eyes burned with flames of anger, filled with disgust for the Japanese character of Ultraman. Lin Ran was immediately shocked and quickly tried to recover. I wasn't finished. I'm Ultraman's sworn enemy, the Chinese Sun Wukong. He hoped this new identity would make the two little boys change their attitude. The two little boys looked at each other again. Since coming to this forest, they had not watched any anime. Sun Wukong was one of the few anime characters in their memory. But after coming here, all they had seen was cruel reality. The life and death struggles had made them almost forget the beautiful animated characters of the past. Are you really Sun Wukong? Are Sun Wukong and Ultraman enemies? They looked at Lin Ran suspiciously, a trace of curiosity in their eyes. Lin Ran's eyes lit up, and he nodded quickly. Yes, I'm Sun Wukong. Hanging me up like this doesn't really hurt me. I'm just giving you a chance to repent. He tried to make his words more convincing, imitating Sun Wukong's tone as he spoke. You're lying. You're not Sun Wukong at all. The little boys were still not convinced, their eyes still full of suspicion. Lin Ran, believe it or not, I could do magic. He decided to further prove his identity. What kind of magic? The little boys were intrigued by Lin Ran's words, wanted to see if he was lying. My backpack can do a backflip. Little Black in a backpack. Lin Ran, still upside down, unstrapped his backpack and threw it to the ground. Let me give you a performance. His movements were a bit comical, but he couldn't be bothered with that now. Lin Ran formed a hand seal and began to chant a spell. As he hung upside down longer, his face began to turn red from holding his breath. I am, try can you, flip for me, he shouted the spell, looking very serious. As Lin Ran's spell was uttered, the backpack actually jumped up. The two little boys stared in amazement at the somersaulting backpack. The backpack seemed to have a life of its own, continuously flipping on the ground. Their eyes were filled with surprise and curiosity. The backpack backflipped, and as it flipped faster and faster, it slowly tumbled into the grass and disappeared. Lin Ran. He hadn't expected this result either. He had just wanted to stall for time, not expecting the backpack to actually disappear. He suddenly felt like composing a poem. One flip, then another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It flipped into the grass and was gone. Lin Ran thought to himself silently, feeling that his poem was quite creative. Good poem, good poem. We believe your Sun Wukong now. I know we were wrong. We'll let you down right away. Little Black. These two kids are hopeless. They actually believe such a bullshit reason. Little Black complained from the grass, speechless at the two boys' intelligence. Soon, Lin Ran was free again. He picked up his backpack from the grass and patted it. Little Black, actually, I was just helping you check if there were any campers in the grass. Lin Ran, you think you're funny? Little Black, am I not? You made a cute cat like me do backflips here. What were you thinking? Lin Ran, don't say that, really don't say that. Your escaping speed is quite fast. Lin Ran teased. Little Black, I was about to go back just now and leave you here to fend for yourself forever. At this moment, one of the children said, Sun Wukong, can you help us win this trial? His eyes were filled with anticipation. Lin Ran patted his chest and said, no problem. Tell me the rules. He just wanted to resolve this matter as quickly as possible and then go find Luo Yao. It's a 3-on-3 fight until one side surrenders or dies. The winning side will have a very powerful person teach us skills, the little boy answered. His tone was calm, as if this life and death struggle was a very common thing. Lin Ran showed a shocked expression. He couldn't believe this was a trial among children. It was too cruel. Little Black, are you an idiot? It cursed in Lin Ran's mind. Lin Ran seemed to have discovered a blind spot. 3-on-3, but there are only 2 of you. He looked at the 2 little boys with some confusion. Our teammate hasn't come back yet, so we're waiting for her. You just hide, and when we start fighting, you can use magic to defeat the other side, the little boy explained. Lin Ran nodded. Finding Luo Yao was the key now. He had wasted a bit too much time with these 2 children. He just wanted to end this quickly and continue his search for Luo Yao. Who is your teammate? It's White-Eyed Wolf. Although she's not a great person, she's very strong. Lin Ran instantly knew that the White-Eyed Wolf they were talking about was likely Luo Yao. These young children, at an age when others were growing up under their parents' care, were already shouldering the cruelest reality, life and death struggles. Thinking that Luo Yao would appear soon, Lin Ran was no longer in a hurry. What are your names? My name is Luo Shui Go, and this is my older brother, Luo Shui Mao. One of the little boys answered, blinking his bright big eyes with a childlike voice. A trace of pride was on his tender face as he looked at his brother with complete dependence. Members of the Luo family, a renowned and great clan. The family was full of descendants, as numerous as the stars. Even after sending so many children here for training, they could still fill the entire old mansion in the future. What a prosperous family. And yet, such a large family ended up being controlled by his wife. Just how powerful was Luo Yao? All right, seeing as your names are so creative, I'll begrudgingly help you. Okay, then you find a place to hide. We'll go find White-Eyed Wolf and be back soon. Luo Shui Go said with a straight face, his little face full of seriousness, a little adult-like appearance that was amusing. Lin Ran listened and nodded slightly. His gaze swept around, thinking of a suitable hiding place. The 2 little boys, like 2 agile little deer, looked around and then left. Their figures quickly disappeared into the dense woods, leaving Lin Ran alone. Lin Ran knew they would be back, so he began to ponder where he should hide to be safe. Hide in the cave? No, that would be too easy to be discovered. Then maybe hide in grass. The dense grass was like a natural barrier that might hide him perfectly. Suddenly, his eyes were drawn to a massive withered tree not far from the cave. The tree grew against the mountain, its trunk astonishingly thick, with a diameter of nearly 2 meters. Its rough bark seemed to be the traces left by time, telling an ancient story. This was no ordinary pine tree. The mottled patterns on its bark and its peculiar branches showed that it was an old tree of an unknown name, exuding a mysterious aura. Lin Ran had intended to hide behind the tree, but when he got closer, he suddenly found that the roots of the tree were blocked by a pile of messy weeds. The weeds grew wantonly, tangled together like a mess of hemp. A wave of curiosity surged in Lin Ran's heart. He squatted down and carefully pushed aside the weeds. There's actually an opening? Lin Ran couldn't help but widen his eyes, which were full of surprise. The opening was not too big or too small, just enough for one person to pass through. The dark opening was like a mysterious big mouth, exuding an irresistible attraction. Lin Ran took a deep breath, bent down, and squeezed in. As soon as he entered, he was instantly stunned by the scene before him. Inside was a sealed space, so quiet that he could only hear his own heartbeat. Lin Ran slowly looked up and found another opening above, through which the light revealed the magnificent red clouds of dusk. The red clouds were like a burning flame, or like a painting drawn with the most brilliant colors, slowly unfolding above his head, beautiful as a dream. Looking at the dim walls, it seemed that something had been faintly carved on them. Lin Ran frowned, a trace of doubt flashing in his eyes. He hurriedly took out a flashlight from his bag. The beam of the flashlight was like a sharp sword in the darkness, piercing the silence. He slowly shone the flashlight on the stone wall and saw a stone carved on it, with 2 people of indistinct appearance looking up. The blurred outline seemed to carry a mysterious power, attracting Lin Ran's gaze. One looked like an adult, and the other a child, small and exuding an air of innocence. A sense of inexplicable familiarity welled up in Lin Ran's heart, and a myriad of thoughts raced through his mind. Little Black. Oh my God. All I can say is that true love is invincible. Little Black's exaggerated voice sounded in Lin Ran's mind with a teasing tone. Lin Ran recognized it too. This was the scene of him and Luo Yao watching the stars last time. That night, he and Luo Yao were just like the 2 people in this stone carving, looking up at the starry sky, as if the whole world consisted of only each other. This was very likely Luo Yao's secret base. This discovery made Lin Ran's heart beat faster. Just then, a sound came from outside. White-Eyed Wolf, we're not lying to you. We really found Sun Wukong, but he's disappeared somewhere. The voice was anxious and excited, echoing in the woods. Lin Ran's heart stirred. He knew that Luo Yao must have returned. He didn't dare to delay, instantly dropping to the ground and peeking through the hole on the floor. Sure enough, he saw the Luo Shui Go brothers, and the person he had been dreaming of, little Luo Yao. Little Luo Yao had grown a bit since he last saw her. She was taller, and her shiny black hair was now shoulder length, falling softly on her shoulders. She stood there, her posture straight, already showing the faint aura of a superior, but her clothes were still tattered and worn, making her look a bit desolate, like a wildflower blooming stubbornly in the wind and rain. There is no Sun Wukong in this world. Luo Yao frowned slightly, her bright eyes showing a trace of suspicion. Just as Luo Yao was about to say something, a sharp eagle's cry pierced the sky, and the three of them fell silent at the same time. Their eyes instantly became vigilant, as if they felt an invisible pressure. The trial has begun. Let's set up an ambush first. We'll talk about everything after it's over, Luo Shui Mao said in a low voice, his eyes firm and calm. They all knew the risks of this trial and didn't dare to be careless. The three of them exchanged a look, then instantly ran towards the pine tree, using both hands and feet, as agile as three monkeys. Before Lin Ran could even climb out of the hole, his eyes widened in disbelief. No way, are these three-part monkey? Lin Ran marveled silently. Such a tall tree, its trunk covered with hard scales and rough textures, and its branches intricate, yet they just climbed it like that? Friends who have climbed trees know that pine trees are very difficult to climb, requiring extremely high skill and strength. Lin Ran had wanted to go out and greet them, but thinking that the three of them were in the middle of a tense trial, he didn't want to disrupt their plans with his sudden appearance, so he held back the urge. Not long after, another figure appeared in the woods. It was a girl who looked a bit older than them. She walked to the entrance of the cave with steady steps. Her eyes were very sinister, like a fierce leopard, her sharp gaze seeming to want to see through everything around her. After circling the cave and finding no one, she came out again. Her expression didn't change, still that cold and ruthless look, and then she began to look around. When she walked to the base of a tree, she suddenly stopped. Her gaze was fixed on a rope on the ground. The rope was barely visible in the grass, but it still couldn't escape her sharp eyes. On a branch above her head, Luo Shui Mao panicked slightly, silently cursing himself for forgetting to reset the trap. His palms were sweating slightly, and he didn't dare to breathe, his eyes fixed on the girl below. The girl on the ground curled her lips into a cold smile. She didn't look up, but instead looked into the distance, her eyes seemingly plotting something. Lin Ran followed her gaze and instantly broke out in a cold sweat. He could clearly see a camper in the grass. The guy was completely hidden in the grass, with only a pair of sharp eyes showing, exuding a sinister aura. What was even more terrifying was that he had already drawn his bow, the arrowhead aimed at Luo Shui Mao in the tree. The top bowstring looked as if it would release a fatal arrow at any moment. Lin Ran, what the fuck? You didn't see this camper in the grass just now. Lin Ran shouted anxiously in his mind. Little Black, he just got here, all right. Little Black's helpless voice sounded in Lin Ran's mind. Lin Ran was about to give a warning, but Luo Yao was faster than him. Idiot, you've been targeted by the enemy. Luo Yao's voice exploded in the air. Her voice was not loud, but it was full of power. About 10 meters away, Luo Yao suddenly jumped down, her figure as light as a flying swallow. The moment she landed, she crouched down and then shot out like a gust of wind, her speed as fast as an arrow leaving the bow, heading towards the camper. The girl on the ground frowned, a flash of annoyance in her eyes. She threw the dart in her hand towards Luo Yao. The dart glinted coldly in the sunlight, its speed extremely fast, like a bolt of lightning. Luo Yao's eyes sharpened. She tilted her head slightly and easily dodged the fatal blow. Because of that, the girl's forceful throw caused her body to involuntarily take a step forward. Seeing this, Luo Shui Go didn't hesitate. He grabbed one end of the rope and jumped down. His movements were clean and swift, instantly pulling the girl on the ground up. The girl was pulled off her feet, but her face remained calm. As she was being hoisted up, she threw a dart from an extremely tricky angle in midair, straight at Luo Shui Go. The dart carried a ruthless force, like a fierce beast pouncing on its prey. Lin Ran watched dumbfounded from the cave, his heart feeling like it was about to leap out of his throat. Although he already knew these children were formidable, he was now more certain than ever that he was truly useless. In a face-to-face, rule-based competition, perhaps he could win. But in a life-or-death battle like this, he felt that any one of these children could kill him in an instant. Luo Shuei's palm was instantly pierced by the girl's dart. The dart embedded itself deeply in his hand, and blood gushed out. The intense pain made him let out a muffled groan. In his agony, he subconsciously let go of the rope, and the girl fell down. At that moment, Luo Shui Mao had already jumped down from the tree. He landed steadily on the ground, his eyes calmly waiting for the girl. The girl was falling through the air and had already used her dart. At this point, she had no chance of turning the tables. As the girl fell, Luo Shui Mao, without any hesitation, pulled a steel needle from his waist and forcefully plunged it into the girl's abdomen. Ah! The girl let out a shrill scream. The sound echoed through the forest, filled with endless pain. Meanwhile, the camper had been subdued by Luo Yao. He was a ranged ADC, skilled at attacking from a distance. Against an assassin type like Luo Yao, once targeted, he had almost no chance of winning. Luo Yao was like a black shadow, sticking close to him, leaving him no room to fight back. "Will you surrender, or wait to die?" Luo Shui Go asked loudly, enduring the pain in his hand. His voice trembled slightly, but it carried the relief of an impending victory. However, neither of the two opponents spoke. They just stared at them with sinister eyes, as if they wanted to eat them alive. Luo Yao didn't feel any sense of ease because the rules of this confrontation were clearly 3-on-3. Only two of their opponents had appeared. Where was the other one? A sense of unease rose in Luo Yao's heart. She suddenly realized something, hurriedly looked up, and her eyes instantly widened. "Get out of the way!" Luo Yao shouted, but it was too late. 3 branches shot over like sharp arrows, so fast that there was no time to react. One of them accurately pierced Luo Shui Mao's chest. The branch went straight through his body, and the powerful impact sent him flying backward, even piercing the girl he had subdued. Blood sprayed from their wounds, dyeing the surrounding grass red. Luo Yao, without a moment's hesitation, immediately used the camper as a shield in front of her. "White-eyed wolf. Now both our sides have lost one person. Shall we continue?" A person slowly walked out from short distance away. Luo Shui Go watched as his brother and the girl were skewered like shish kebabs. His eyes had turned crimson, as if a fire was burning within them. "Brother," Luo Shui Go's voice was choked with sobs. His body trembled slightly, his heart filled with grief and anger. But the injured Luo Shui Mao on the ground had been pierced through the chest. His face turned deathly pale, his lips trembled, and there was no chance of him surviving. In this dangerous world, the two brothers had supported each other through 2 years of trials and tribulations. In these 2 years, they had faced countless hardships together, struggling on the brink of life and death each time. Although they knew they might not make it out alive together in the end, they still held a sliver of hope that a miracle would happen. Now his brother had died so unexpectedly right in front of him. The scene was a nightmare, piercing Luo Shui's heart to the core. Luo Shui going insane. His rationality completely collapsed at this moment. Like an enraged bull, he charged madly at the person before him. His eyes saw only hatred, his mind filled with only the thought of avenging his brother. The person's self-made giant crossbow could only be fired once and was now useless. Seeing Luo Shui Go charge at him, he could only brace himself for a fight. Luo Yao's eyes narrowed, becoming incredibly cold, like frost in winter. She had one belief in her heart. She had to survive, not only for herself, but also for the promise to that big brother. Luo Shui Go's strength was not to be underestimated. He fought his enemy to a standstill. Luo Yao moved abruptly, her movements as fast as lightning. With a flash of her figure, a weapon that had appeared in her hand at some unknown time struck the enemy she was holding with a fierce momentum. The weapon was like the Grim Reaper's scythe, precisely slicing through the enemy's vital points. The enemy's eyes widened in horror and disbelief. He opened his mouth, as if trying to shout, but was choked by the blood in his throat, only managing to make a gurgling sound. Then, like a pile of mud, he slumped to the ground. Blood gushed from his wound, spreading on the ground like a flower of sin blooming in hell. Afterward, Luo Yao and Luo Shui Go attacked the last enemy together. That enemy gradually showed signs of fatigue. Under the storm-like attacks of the two, he finally died with regret. The original was written to be very graphic, but it got censored, so it had to be omitted. His body fell heavily to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. Blood trickled from his various wounds, dyeing the surrounding ground a striking red. Luo Yao and Luo Shui Go were victorious. It should have been a moment for celebration, but they did not smile. There was no joy of victory on their faces, only endless sorrow and exhaustion. The two of them stood there quietly, like two statues drained of their souls, their eyes fixed on the dead Luo, Shui, Mao, and the others. A battle of 6 people, with only 2 survivors. This was the cruelty of Luo Yao's world. In this world, there was no mercy, no sympathy, only the contest of life and death. Every battle was a nightmare, and this nightmare was terrifyingly real. And in the cave not far away, Lin Rant's eyes had long since turned red. His eyes were filled with tears, which welled up and threatened to fall at any moment. His hands were clenched into tight fists, his knuckles white from force. His heart felt as if it was being squeezed by an invisible hand, hurting so much he couldn't breathe. He wanted to rush out, to comfort Luo Yao, to change this cruel reality. But he was constantly being held back by Little Black. Lin Ran, think carefully. If you're discovered by others, what will happen to Luo Yao? At least wait until it's just the 2 of you before you show yourself. If you act so rashly, you might harm her. Remember, do not easily change a person's fate here, or the consequences could be severe. Lin Ran. If you say one more damn word, I'll kill you. Little Black. Lin Ran prepared to rush out. Get your ass back here. Someone's coming. Don't get them hurt because you expose yourself. Little Black's urgent voice rang in Lin Rant's mind, stopping him in his tracks. Looking closely, someone was indeed coming. In truth, Lin Ran knew Little Black was right. His body was already trembling slightly. His eyes were filled with pain and helplessness, like a beast trapped in a cage, watching its companions suffer outside, powerless to do anything. And Luo Yao's small figure looked incredibly lonely and desolate. Was this Luo Yao's loneliest and most desperate moment? A sharp eagle's cry rang out, breaking the silence and echoing through the woods, carrying a sense of lofty authority. You've won. One of you can follow me and learn some skills. A woman's voice came through, cold and indifferent, as if devoid of any human emotion. She appeared without warning, an eagle circling above her head, its eyes as sharp as knives, as if scrutinizing everything on the ground. One. Luo Yao raised her head, her voice a little hoarse from the prolonged battle. That's right, only one. In today's trial, I will only take 1 disciple from each group. In other words, out of the 6 of you in your group, only 1 can ultimately survive. The woman said with a blank expression, her eyes like a cold abyss, without a ripple of emotion. Luo Shui Go had not yet recovered from the grief of losing his brother. Hearing the woman's words, he asked while sobbing, "But we're teammates. Didn't you say it was 3-on-3? His face was streaked with tears, his eyes filled with confusion about this cruel rule. The woman's eyes narrowed, a hint of impatience flashing through them. Suddenly, she struck without warning, so fast that there was no time to react. A cold light flashed from her hand, and Luo Shui Go's body fell to the ground like a fallen leaf. Blood spurted like a fountain from his carotid artery, splattering on the ground with a drip, drip sound, like a countdown to death. You're not suited for this place. There can be no emotions here, the woman said coldly, her voice like a chilling wind from hell. Luo Shui Mao had also fallen. His eyes were wide open, filled with horror and unwillingness. He died with his eyes open, staring straight in Lin Rant's direction, as if his gaze was telling Lin Ran of his pain and despair. His wandering eyes seemed to be searching for something. Finally, before he passed, he found a hero in his heart. His lips trembled slightly as he looked in Lin Rant's direction and murmured, "Son, Wu, Kong, why didn't you save me?" The faint voice dissipated in the air, but it struck Lin Rant's heart like a heavy hammer. Lin Ran felt as if his heart was being twisted by a knife. He knew Luo Yao's world was cruel, but he never expected it to be this cruel. In this world, life was as insignificant as an ant and could be trampled on at will. Emotions were a luxury, and possessing them could lead to one's demise. What kind of world was this? Why did it feel like he never knew it at all? Would that woman harm little Luo Yao? He could choose not to save the 2 brothers, but he couldn't ignore Luo Yao. Lin Ran was not a saint, nor was he a bleeding heart, but he was human. He knew in his heart that going out would be suicide, but how could he just sit and wait at a moment like this? He had to fight for a glimmer of hope for little Luo Yao. Little Black's lazy voice came. Don't be impulsive. If something were to happen to Luo Yao, she wouldn't have survived to the future. Don't you understand that simple logic? But if you really go out and change the past, Whether Luo Yao can live to the future will be unknown. Lin Ran was instantly stunned. Luo Yao, remember, from now on, I am your teacher. Actually, our relationship is quite close. I am your grandfather's biological sister. By seniority, I am your granddad. The woman looked at Luo Yao, a flicker of imperceptible satisfaction in her eyes. Luo Yao looked at Luo Shui Mao on the ground, not crying, not making a fuss, but coldly asked, "Here, there are no emotions?" Her voice was not loud, but it carried a chilling courage, as if she was challenging this cruel world. Luo Tongji nodded, her expression unchanged, still that cold and ruthless look. Emotions are a sign of weakness. Only by abandoning emotions can one survive in this cruel world. Suddenly, Luo Yao gripped her dagger, a resolute look flashing in her eyes. She charged at Luo Tongji, so fast that even Luo Tongji was startled. Luo Yao's figure was like a bolt of lightning, tearing through the tranquility. The dagger in her hand glinted with a cold light, a symbol of her anger and her rebellion against fate. But it only startled Luo Tongji for a moment. After all, Luo Tongji was a seasoned warrior. She was even faster. With a flash of her figure, she easily dodged Luo Yao's attack. A scornful smile appeared on her face, as if mocking Luo Yao's overconfidence. "Very good. You even dare to strike your own granddad. I need someone like you. I believe you will definitely surpass your aunt Luo Wuyo in the future. Remember, only one person can survive here." The woman did not do anything to Luo Yao, but let her go. In her eyes, Luo Yao's spirit of resistance was rare. She seemed to see the day when Luo Yao would become a great warrior in the future. Luo Yao also realized that she was no match for the woman in front of her. A trace of unwillingness flashed in her eyes, but she knew that resistance now was futile. She had to wait. Patience was also a skill. So, she stopped her attack and looked at Luo Tongji coldly. Luo Tongji left, her figure gradually disappearing into the woods. Before leaving, she thoughtfully helped Luo Yao collect the 5 corpses. "Just in time to feed my eagle," the woman's indifferent voice came, as if talking about the most ordinary thing, not about those once vibrant lives. The excited cry of the eagle came from the sky. As the woman left, Luo Yao seemed to lose all her strength. She sat down directly on the blood-soaked ground. She stared blankly at the bloodstains left by her dead teammates, her thoughts drifting far away. No emotions, no family. Hee, how true. Luo Yao murmured to herself, her laughter sending shivers down one's spine. It was her desperate mockery of this world. "Are you okay?" A voice came from the darkness behind her, tinged with concern. Luo Yao, on the ground, was like a startled beast. Her body shot up, a fierce glint in her eyes. She quickly drew her dagger and charged towards the darkness behind her. Her speed was astonishing, as if she had transformed into a vengeful god of death. Lin Ran was shocked. He hadn't expected Luo Yao to react like this. He immediately shouted, "It's me, Lin Ran." His voice echoed in the darkness, laced with anxiety and fear. Luo Yao froze for a moment, but then her eyes turned even more crimson, a kind of unhinged madness. Her eyes began to burn like flames, and within those flames raged endless anger and killing intent. Lin Ran knew all too well what state Luo Yao was in now. He knew she had fallen into an extremely dangerous frenzy. "I will kill you," Luo Yao enunciated each word. Her voice was like a curse from hell, each word seeping with a bone-chilling, killing intent. She raised her dagger and stabbed viciously at Lin Ran. The cold glint of the dagger flickered in the darkness, like a summons from death itself. Lin Ran hurriedly explained, "Luo Yao, don't you recognize me?" His voice trembled slightly, tried to awaken Luo Yao's sanity, but Luo Yao was currently overwhelmed by anger and grief and couldn't hear a word. All she wanted now was to kill Lin Ran as quickly as possible, then turn him into a specimen to keep by her side forever, to carry with her wherever she went. "You are mine." In her chaotic mind, Lin Ran had become the only thing she could hold on to, even if it was through such an extreme method. Seeing Luo Yao's actions, Lin Ran was also shocked. The current Luo Yao was like a completely different person compared to the last time he saw her. She was no longer the little girl with innocent eyes, but an assassin consumed by darkness. A deep sorrow welled up in his heart. He didn't want to hurt Luo Yao, but he had to dodge her frenzied attacks. At the critical moment, Lin Ran directly grabbed the blade with his hand. Drip, drip. Blood flowed from Lin Ran's hand, dripping onto the ground. The sound was exceptionally clear in the quiet environment. Fortunately, he had a bit of reaction speed. Lin Ran silently congratulated himself. At least he had blocked this fatal blow. If Luo Yao had been a little faster, he would have been dead for sure. Little Black, you're injured. Lin Ran, I did it on purpose. Maybe only blood can wake her up. Little Black, TSK. Stubborn till the end. Just admit you couldn't beat her. Lin Ran couldn't believe that Luo Yao at this stage already had the strength to kill him in an instant. After all, she was still just a child. Luo Yao, I'm sorry. I can't die, because if I die, you'll regret it. Little Black, so damn pretentious. Lin Ran said through gritted teeth, his eyes fixed firmly on Luo Yao, trying to awaken her sanity with his gaze. Little Luo Yao didn't seem to understand the meaning behind Lin Ran's words. After seeing him injured, she felt increasingly agitated inside. It was a strange feeling, as if a force was struggling deep within her, wanting to break through her madness. Suddenly, Lin Ran pulled little Luo Yao into an embrace. He held her tightly, as if trying to pull her back from the dark abyss. Luo Yao's eyes instantly cleared, slowly becoming dazed. The dagger in her hand also fell to the ground with a clang. Her body trembled slightly, a trace of confusion flashing through her, as if she had just woken up from a nightmare. So, this wasn't a dream? A focus gradually returned to her eyes. Looking at the familiar face before her, a complex emotion surged in her heart. Luo Yao, I came to find you, Lin Ran said softly. His voice was gentle and firm, like a warm sun in winter, shining into Luo Yao's cold heart. Little Luo Yao felt as if she had obtained something called desire. That desire took root and sprouted in her heart, bringing a trace of warmth to her originally cold heart. 2 years ago, she had experienced this warmth, but it was quickly lost. The pain of that loss was still etched in her memory. You came to find me? Luo Yao's voice trembled slightly. A glimmer of hope shone in her eyes, a hope like a candle in the darkness, faint but incredibly precious. Of course, if it weren't to find you, I wouldn't have come at all, Lin Ran said with a smile, his smile as warm as a spring breeze, dispelling the haze in Luo Yao's heart. Sensing the somewhat familiar scent before her, she had smelled this scent before, 2 years ago. It was a scent that put her at ease, a scent she had longed for in countless nightmares. Is it, really, you? A hint of pleasant surprise flashed in Luo Yao's eyes. It's me. I'm late, Lin Ran said, holding Luo Yao's hand tightly, as if to transfer his strength to her. The sun had completely set, leaving only a faint afterglow on the horizon. The sliver of light sprinkled on the two of them. Through the last rays of twilight, Luo Yao could see the outline of the person before her. A flash of excitement crossed her eyes, and she threw herself at him. You bad man. Why did it take you so long to come find me? Luo Yao's voice carried a hint of complaint, but more of it was joy. She hugged Lin Ran tightly, as if afraid he would disappear again. Lin Ran held little Luo Yao in his arms. This familiar feeling felt like a lifetime ago. He gently stroked Luo Yao's hair, his eyes full of tenderness. It turned out that whether it was now or in the past, Luo Yao had always been by his side. This feeling made him cherish it immensely. I'm sorry, I'm late, Lin Ran whispered in Luo Yao's ear, his voice tinged with guilt. Little Black. Yo, sorry, I'm late. Are you done with your act? Lin Ran. Do you believe I'll let Luo Yao kill you right now? After he said this, Little Black became as quiet as a morgue. Of course, Lin Ran was just joking, but he didn't expect this joke to stop being funny so soon. Luo Yao's appearance gradually became clear in Lin Ran's eyes, incredibly real. She had changed a lot from 2 years ago. Though her hair was still short, she already had the appearance of a young woman. The short, somewhat messy hair framed her cheeks, adding a touch of maturity. Her eyes were not as cold as they would later be. The light shining within them was as brilliant as the stars. She had also grown taller, her figure slender and graceful, like a rare flower about to bloom. Suddenly, an eagle's cry sounded from the sky, breaking the warm atmosphere. Luo Yao was startled, her body trembling slightly, a trace of fear flashing in her eyes. After a moment's thought, she quickly pulled Lin Ran towards the secret base. Her steps were hurried, as if something terrifying was chasing them from behind. Only after the two of them had squeezed inside did Luo Yao breathe a sigh of relief. No one knows about this place. Her eyes held a hint of relief. This was her last sanctuary, the only safe place for her and Lin Ran. Luo Yao, I'm sorry for leaving without saying goodbye last time, Lin Ran said guiltily, knowing that his departure had caused Luo Yao great pain. Little Luo Yao looked up at Lin Ran. You said you would marry me when we grow up. They said only husbands and wives can be together. Her eyes sparkled with anticipation, a hope as bright as the most luminous star in the night sky. Lin Ran nodded. He looked into Luo Yao's eyes and said seriously, I not only said it, I will do it. Little Black, shut up. Then, do you have a wife now? I heard people say that getting married means getting a wife, Luo Yao asked with a frown. Lin Ran was taken aback, not expecting little Luo Yao to ask such a question. He smiled and said, If you nod, I will. Lin Ran's eyes were full of love, looking at Luo Yao as if she were the most precious treasure in the world. Luo Yao didn't quite understand Lin Ran's words at first. After thinking for a moment, she understood his meaning and nodded vigorously. The two stayed in the secret base for a while. Lin Ran took out a timer and checked the time. This time, I can stay with you for another 6 hours. I also brought you some things. He felt it was necessary to tell Luo Yao the specific amount of time they had together, but he didn't expect to break his promise so soon. Luo Yao's expression instantly fell. Her eyes, which had been sparkling with hope, suddenly dimmed, as if a brilliant star had abruptly fallen into an endless dark abyss. She lowered her head slightly, her lips trembling, her shoulders slumping involuntarily, as if all the life had been drained from her. The joy that had just surged from their reunion is shattered like a bubble in the face of this cruel reality. Luo Yao, I came to find you this time to tell you that you must walk the road ahead bravely. I will be waiting for you on a certain day in the future. Lin Ran's voice was gentle and firm, like a faint lamp lit in the darkness. He looked at Luo Yao, his eyes full of reluctance and heartache. Each word seemed to be squeezed from the bottom of his heart, carrying his deep affection and hope for Luo Yao. He knew that after this separation, he didn't know when they would meet again, but he could only use these words to give Luo Yao strength. If he could, Lin Ran really wanted to take Luo Yao away directly, away from this cruel and heartless world, away from this place filled with blood and slaughter. Every inch of air here was filled with the stench of death, and every corner hid unknown dangers. But he only had a few hours. In these short few hours, it was impossible to take Luo Yao away. Time was like a ruthless blade hanging over his head, constantly reminding him of his incompetence. And Little Black had said from the beginning that it was impossible to take other people through time. That was an insurmountable chasm, a cruel shackle set for him by fate. Lin Ran's heart was filled with helplessness and pain. He hated his powerlessness, yet he could not change this predetermined fact. Luo Yao didn't have an outburst this time. She seemed to be trying hard to suppress the tumultuous emotions raging within her. I call this place the Stargazing Cave. You're like a star in the sky, sometimes appearing, sometimes disappearing. Stars are indeed beautiful, but also desperate. The sky had completely darkened. Lin Ran looked up and indeed saw the vast, starry sky through the opening above, watching the stars from the bottom of a well. In the future, you will definitely be able to stand outside and see the most beautiful stars. Luo Yao looked at the stars in the sky, then at Lin Ran, feeling that happiness could be quite simple. Lin Ran, do you have any wishes? Hearing Lin Ran's words, Luo Yao suddenly seemed to remember something. I do. What is it? Tell me. Maybe I could try to help you achieve it. Little Luo Yao reached behind her neck with her slender fingers and took off a string. This wish, only you can help me fulfill. The string looked a bit old, but was well preserved, as if it carried something incredibly precious. Last time you suddenly disappeared, you didn't leave me anything, Luo Yao said softly, her voice carrying a trace of grievance, the pain from countless tormented memories. This time, you must leave something for me. A small bottle was tied to the middle of the string. The small bottle glinted with a mysterious light in the dimness. Lin Ran recognized the bottle at a glance. The familiar sight made his heart skip a beat. So, it was written at this time? But it seemed there was already a note in the bottle. Luo Yao carefully opened the small bottle, her movements as gentle as if she were handling the most fragile treasure in the world. She gently took out the note from inside. The note was already a bit wrinkled, clearly having been taken out and looked at repeatedly. She looked up, her eyes firmly fixed on Lin Ran. The light shining in them was one of longing, of anticipation. Lin Ran was instantly stunned. He stared blankly at the note in Luo Yao's hand, a complex emotion welling up in his heart. So this note was written under these circumstances. Each crease was like a trace of Luo Yao's lonely weight, and every word was filled with her longing for him. He slowly raised his head, looked up, and indeed saw the night sky full of starlight. The starry sky was dazzling, like a huge scroll, but in Lin Rant's eyes, there was an indescribable strangeness. So this well opening was just like in a dream. Everything around was dreamlike, yet incredibly real. This feeling made him wonder if he was dreaming. Big brother, will you do it yourself, please? Lin Ran saw the words Luo Yao had written on the note at some point. When I grow up, I will marry. The end was blank. The handwriting was crooked and messy, but it was full of childishness and expectation. Every stroke seemed to be a wish written with all of Luo Yao's strength. Don't call me Big Brother. Call me Ran. Ran, Luo Yao whispered. The name, spoken from her lips, carried a special kind of intimacy. Yao Yao, Lin Ran responded, his voice gentle and affectionate. When Luo Yao heard Lin Ran call her Yao Yao, she was enveloped by something called happiness. She passed the note to him, her hand trembling slightly, her eyes filled with a longing that burned like a flame, almost threatening to consume him. Then you just have to write the 2 words at the end, Luo Yao said, her voice pleading, her eyes fixed on Lin Ran as if this was the only thing that mattered in the world. Lin Ran's right hand was injured, and he couldn't write with his left. Only now did he truly understand what embarrassment was. But for Luo Yao, he had to do it even if it killed him. The blood had already dried, but every movement felt like countless needles jabbing him. Seeing Lin Ran hesitate, Luo Yao once again entered a state of agitation. You don't want to write it? I don't care, you must write it. If you dare to leave me, I will kill you, turn you into a specimen, and make you stay with me for all eternity. Holy crap, have you always been this bold since you were a child? Luo Yao's eyes suddenly turned fierce, glinting with a mad light that sent a chill down Lin Ran's spine. Although Lin Ran couldn't see her expression clearly, his instincts told him that if he didn't do as she said, he would surely die here. He could clearly feel Luo Yao's hand tightening around her dagger. The dagger glinted coldly in the darkness, like the grim reaper's scythe, ready to harvest his life at any moment. Luo Yao's eyes turned crimson, terrifyingly so. There was not a trace of reason left in them, only endless madness and anger. You said you would stay with me forever. Ah, Luo Yao's scream was exceptionally terrifying. The sound was so sharp it seemed to want to tear through the sky, no longer sounding human. It echoed in the quiet night like a roar from hell, making one's hair stand on end. Lin Ran's eyes widened, his heart sinking. He hadn't expected Luo Yao to snap just like that, without any hesitation. He quickly reached out and grabbed Luo Yao's arm, staring at her intently. Who said I wasn't going to write it? His voice was anxious, as if afraid he'd be dismembered if he was a second too late. Lin Ran took the note and pen. Just as he was about to sign his name, he hesitated, then wrote me. Because of his injury and Luo Yao's urgency, it was more appropriate to write a character with fewer strokes. When you grow up, you'll marry me. No one else will do, okay. Lin Ran's handwriting was normally very good, but due to his injury, he had to use extra force to write properly. Each stroke felt like it took all his strength, yet unexpectedly, it reached a new level of artistry. The character me retained its usual elegance, but was written with a fierce conviction, as if it held all his emotions and promises. Luo Yao, actually, I had so much to say to you last time, but when I saw you, I didn't know where to start. I can only tell you that when you grow up, you really do marry me, and we are very much in love. Lin Ran said softly, his voice as warm as a spring breeze, trying to dispel the darkness in Luo Yao's heart. Luo Yao blinked, the madness in her eyes gradually fading, replaced by a trace of doubt and surprise. So you're from the future? Lin Ran hadn't expected Luo Yao to be so smart, guessing the key point right away. Wait, doesn't that mean the later Luo Yao always knew he was a transmigrator? Then, Lin Ran's head throbbed as he thought about it. He felt as if he had fallen into a huge mystery. It turned out that Luo Yao never cared what he was. All she cared about was whether he was by her side. This pure and deep emotion filled Lin Ran's heart with both gratitude and guilt. If this wasn't true love, then what was? Here, take it. This is my promise to you, Lin Ran said, handing the note to Luo Yao, and then prepared to give her the things he had brought. You! Luo Yao was about to take it. Just then, an unusual snoring sound broke the silence. After Lin Ran and Luo Yao's long, emotional conversation, the bored little black had long since fallen asleep. Its small body was curled up in the backpack, letting out soft snores. The snoring was particularly abrupt in the quiet environment. Little Luo Yao was startled, her body reacting instinctively. In this world full of danger, any slight disturbance could mean death. The dagger in her hand stabbed unhesitatingly towards Lin Rant's backpack, the movement as fast as lightning. Meow. Little Black let out a shrill cry. It was jolted 3 feet into the air by the sudden attack. Then, a strange light flashed, and Little Black, along with Lin Ran, disappeared from the spot. Luo Yao reached out to grab them, her eyes filled with horror and despair. Her fingers swiped through the air, catching only emptiness. She watched as Lin Ran suddenly vanished before her eyes, a feeling like a piece of her heart had been brutally ripped out. "I will catch you." Luo Yao's roar echoed, filled with anger and unwillingness. Lin Ran felt that coming back this time was a real mistake. He had only done it to satisfy his own curiosity, but he hadn't expected to bring Luo Yao such immense pain. His heart was filled with self-blame. He felt like an executioner, ruthlessly hurting the girl who loved him so deeply. "Luo Yao, I will wait for you in the future. You must be strong." Lin Rant's voice gradually faded in the air. As the voice grew fainter, only Luo Yao's lonely figure remained in this space. She stood there, like an island abandoned by the world, the surrounding darkness threatening to swallow her whole. This loneliness was what Lin Ran had left her. It was like an unhealable wound, deeply piercing her heart. This time, Lin Ran did not return to reality, but entered a magical region. It seemed to be the time tunnel that he had once glimpsed. The surroundings were a hazy light, flickering uncertainly, as if telling the mysteries of time. Little Black. Lin Ran then remembered that Little Black seemed to be injured. A wave of worry washed over him. If something happened to Little Black, then little Luo Yao would have to live in solitude until she grew up. So, the moments she lost her companions and teammates were not her loneliest, nor her most desperate. Looking at the note in his hand, Lin Ran fell into deep thought. Could it be that Luo Yao's loneliest and most desperate moment was one of his own making? Little Black. Meow. How much have I suffered? Meow, meow, meow. Luo Yao is too ruthless. Meow, meow, meow. Little Black's voice rang in Lin Rant's mind, filled with grievance and complaint, mixed with a hint of pain.